Morning, good evening. I'm audible to the online people. Just drop a message, a thumbs up from the online so that we will feel it is audible with respect to it. Comfortable? Start. Online மட்டும் audible. Is the video and audio clear with respect to online? Just drop a message. Yes, great. So what we'll do for the next 5 days is we'll do the mains boot camp. The mains boot camp is being done for 2 courses. One is the mains test series and also the mentorship program, right? Which is part of it. We also thought like from the online, we request everyone to switch off your audio. Mute your audio. இல்லை நம்ம சைட்ல மீட் பண்ணுவேன். நீங்க மட்டும் ஜாலியா அங்க ஏதாவது பேசிட்டு இருப்பீங்க, நாங்க இங்க உட்காந்து சிரிச்சிட்டு இருப்போம். அப்புறம் நீங்க பேசுறதெல்லாம் கேட்டு. Shall we? Yeah. For the next 5 days, what we will do is like the mains boot camp. We will be doing each day one paper. So today the intent, please. Today the intent is first, for the next 2.5 hours, we will be discussing with respect to it. So we will first discuss about what is mains and how to approach the mains part. Then we will go on with respect to geography. We'll discuss about the geography's mains. In 1.5 hours or 2.5 hours, the geography cannot be covered. So it's only an introduction to the boot camp. What areas? There will be large more amount of simplifying the entire question paper, breaking down the entire question paper and demystifying the entire question paper over the entire journey of it, right? So this will be a base introduction and there will be multiple parts over the entire journey with respect to it. This is number 1. Number 2, once geography has been over, I will also introduce you with respect to the mains test series and also the catalyst path, which is our mentorship program. And then society faculty, Mr. Vasanta Pandian, who has appeared on 3 interviews with sociology option, who will be handling with respect to the society part. Then Jayaprakash sir, if time permits, because GS paper 1 is the most voluminous paper in the entire 4 papers with respect to it. I'm not sure whether the time will permit for us to handle geography, society and also the history part. If time permits, we will handle the history part, but by our calculations, we will be able to only handle today with respect to introduction to the mains, because it will take some amount of time, then geography, and then with respect to the society part, right? With respect to the history, what we will do is like, we will club it with respect to essay. This is on the 5th day, because essay will be the, it's voluminous, cannot be done in one day. We will keep essay for 1.5 hours or 1 hour, and then the history part, we will club it with respect to it. So today we will be handling introduction, program introductions, geography, society. Tomorrow we will have polity with Bala Subhash sir, Sailesh sir. Will be handling with respect to governance and social justice. Satyapal Deepak sir, who has appeared 5 times UPSC interview and also with respect to 17 years of teaching, will be handling your international relations, who is a political science and international relations faculty. GS paper 3 will be handled by Sailesh sir for the economic part. Agriculture, environment, disaster management will be handled by me. Internal security will be handled by Sardi sir or by Sailesh sir. Then for ethics, myself, JB sir and Sailesh sir will be handling with respect to it. So we are a team of 8 faculties. Every single person has appeared on the interview, right? That's the Delhi standard. So we have appeared on the interview, we have faced the interview. There are people who have missed the final results by 1 mark, 3 marks, 5 marks. Will be here with respect to it, and then we'll be handling the subjects, right? And we break it down. We make it data-driven approach. Right. So what we will do is like, without wasting the time, we will move on to the second part. So this is what I told. This is the agenda of the day. So we will have introduction to the catalyst path. Path is nothing but a mentorship program. We wanted to have a personalized mentorship and then academic transformation and handholding. So 3 parts we have defined with respect to our mentorship. 1 is personalized mentoring. So there will be a mentor who will be handling with respect to it. We will change the academic thought process with respect to it. And handholding, this is an 1.5 year to 2 year journey. You will travel with us. Then with respect to the mains test orientation, to simplify, most of you whoever has joined has already know the schedule, but I will again write down the schedule. Then we'll go on to GS. First, we'll start with respect to the GS part. So let's break it down. Whatever the notes you want, write it down. So this is some things, if you take the material and write it, simplify it, you will get it. So this is after years of if you have the simplification process, you will be able to put across, or not. Yes, after days of simplification process, you will be able to put across. So I have categorized geography into 3 elements. Section A will have physical geography part. I will also show you the slides where physical geography, what does physical geography involve. Section B will have natural resources and the industry part. So that's the major area. And then the section 3 part will have geophysical phenomena, which also includes other features. You do know the syllabus. The syllabus will be, in mains, it is being defined into 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph will speak about natural resources and industries. The second paragraph will speak about geophysical features. Nowhere the syllabus explicitly says Indian geography, this is included. But there is the words of India is available in resources. Words of India is available in multiple parts. And when we go into the question paper, climatology is asked, oceanography is being asked, Indian geography is asked, hazards have been asked, technology part has been asked. So we'll break it down. If you look into 3 simple lines, you will be able to see one major part, right? This section B part, this is the part where more number of questions has been asked. So if you look into it, 53% of your paper from geography comes from natural resources and industrial part. So if somebody starts geography, then this is your area you will have to cover. So we are going to, in this program, in this bootcamp program, we will just give an introduction to it. This 43%, we have broken down into multiple segments. We have made thematic areas. We have divided into multiple parts, which we will be able to provide you over the entire course of journey, which cannot be done. Geography itself, then we'll go for entire 5 days of bootcamp with respect to it. Not possible. The second part, you will be able to see 32% of your paper is your physical geography, which is largely your preliminary syllabus, right? But they don't ask it very simply with respect to that question paper on that particular part. The third one is your geophysical phenomena, where large amount of climate change events, large amount of hazards, large amount of technologies have been asked on that particular regions. We'll go one after the other. So this is a simple way to see just data, put it in multiple ways. Section B dominates, followed by section A and followed by section C. If I have to categorize by the syllabus units, the earlier units are by major subject headings. If I have to categorize by syllabus units from the viewpoint of geography as a core subject, then climatology has a large amount of questions, followed equally by water resources. What people doesn't do is like they will read climatology, geomorphology, oceanography, and then when we are preparing for it, no mains candidate will do that because they do take it approach differently. But when we study our PCMs, foundation courses, we study climatology, we study geomorphology, we study oceanography, and we feel geography is over. Look at the numbers. Climatology is 11. Similarly, water resources is 11. So that is one other element we will have to put our hard work in it. Followed by hazards, which has been in the recent time periods has been increasing with respect to it. Followed by geomorphology. So that's only my 4th priority when it comes to it. Not the first priority of geography when it comes to the mains part. Followed by energy resources. These energy resources and industries are interdisciplinary in manner. Because some of the resources, let us say lithium, iron, steel comes into it, where lithium can be a EV industry part, iron comes into it, iron and steel industry can be there, or any resources you put across that can be added to the regions. So these will be interconnected with respect to it. So most of the years we had industry questions. Almost every year. Physical India, it's a next part towards it, followed by geopolitics. Geopolitics is something which has not been largely discussed in basic geography. You would have not been taught in your foundation courses to think from the geopolitics view. Your international relations faculty would have taught you one element of geopolitics, but I come with respect to writing here. There's a basic differences. What is the basic difference? Whatever you study from the international relations is only GS paper 2. The same geopolitics has to be written from GS paper 1. The simplest question is 2014, the very first year, when the question has been introduced. The question said, how do India see resource rich Africa? I do know multiples of people on those years. That's basic, simple thing. I have been teaching from 2012. Many of my students who wrote in 2014 simply came and said, sir, they asked international relations questions in GS paper 1. I wrote it so beautifully with respect to all interest. That is GS paper 1. There is a syllabus topic called primary, secondary, tertiary industries of the world, including India. So how do India see the resource rich Africa? You will have to write how India's resource deficient in a primary resource, which is available in the African country. I am importing the material. Similarly, if I am excess in that material, I have to export the material towards it. Similarly, I might not have lithium, I might not have a cobalt, what Democratic Republic of Congo has, or I might not have oil like Nigeria or Congo, Angola, or on the other part with respect to Egypt, Libya, Sudan, all these regions. I might not produce tea at a very competitive price like Kenya or Ethiopia produces, right? So I have to write how primary industries of Africa is going to fulfill my demand and supply for my population, for my economy, for my development. How natural resources for my secondary industries, how tertiary industries can be fulfilling it, how their development needs, I will do development required assistance, which India does separately and China does separately in that particular land, make a goodwill measure. I have to write geography here, not international relations. So you understand the syllabus, how questions have been asked, you will be carried for that part. Are we clear with respect to it? Shall I move further? Yes. Followed by 8, we do have physical India, geopolitics, we already discussed. We're going to discuss again and again. These are the major 8 headings. If you cover these major 8 headings, your geography is done. Most of the students cover climatology, geomorphology, physical India, right? Hazards, disaster management, but there we write differently, here we write differently because that is only management part. NDRF and its provisions as written, completed with respect to it. I have to write geography, why an hazard is being cast here. The causal factor of geography has to be written. Water resources, again, geography and resources. Energy and industries, geopolitics, right? Followed by it. This is like a year-wise. So starting from 2013 to 2025. Don't be worried about numbers and don't be worried about the bar charts. Just add the line of numbers at the top. So minimum, one exceptional year of 5, you take it out. All the years, at least 8 questions, 1, 4. Apart from that, I do have minimum 8, maximum of 12. The variations will go on with respect to it. Let's keep it as easily 8 questions, right? Which is 10, 40, 15, 60, 100 marks out of 250. If 8 comes. I'm not going into 12. I'm not going into the exception years, 12. Marks comes from geography on an average, right? And why do students doesn't score in GS paper 1? Because you don't write the argument for the geography. You don't write argument for history. And JP sir comes here, he will be speaking about what does argument in history means. What does argument in geography means is as simple as other parts. We do have diagrams. We do have geographic examples. And we do have map. This is called argument for geography. Why do you call it as argument for geography? Simple. You would have studied something called Babar and Khadar, right? Khadar will be a new alluvial plain where Babar will be old alluvial plain. The question comes on discuss about Khadar and Bangar with respect to it. People write about Khadar, Bangar. But is it possible? I can also draw one India map, North India map alone I can draw and I can show for the new alluvial plain, Gangetic plains, food plains, Indus food plains, Brahmaputra food plains, and I will show this is Khadar. Parallelly, one more diagram can be map of North India map alone can be drawn, and this can be shown with respect to Punjab, Haryana, Doab regions of Uttar Pradesh, Ganga Doab, Yamuna Doab, and what does it say? None of the paper has the value addition. So once this is being done, the below part, if you give a diagram of 2 parts of the diagram towards it in the entire paper, then you are arguing to the particular evaluator, I do know geography more than everybody. The diagram will give you marks. Whatever the statement you are going to write, that statement will be substantiated by an answer, by an example, by a case study, by a map. So I need an argument for it. So every subject has an argument. Economics argument can be a data point. Economics argument may be a bar chart. Economics argument can be a case study on data point of transformation. Geography has a different data point. So we'll discuss multiples of data points, multiples of argument over the entire journey, because it's not one data point. I'm showing this, but when I'm writing about population geography, this is not going to be the data point again. There I have to quote NFHS 5 data with respect to 4 data. Don't worry, we will give you notes. We will provide you with respect to it. We'll handhold on that particular part. Comfortable? So this we have covered, and we move on. And section B, where we already discussed with respect to dominating of 43 questions out of 100 questions as of now, and they treat it in this manner: applied and economical. What do you mean by economical? Natural resources, industry, water resources, geopolitics of the resources, right? So all these aspects will come into economy with respect to it. So geography is not treated just as a geographical element. Geography is treated as an economic part within the geography. Similarly, there is an applied part towards the geography, where they ask you questions in simpler manner, like discuss the role of isthmus and straits in the world trade. And if you do not know the isthmus of the world, straits of the world, the 10 mark is over. Every year, 2 questions comes if you do know map reading. And those 2 questions are 10 marks. So not more than 20. If exceptional year like 4 questions and 5 questions comes, 1 question comes on that particular part. So 10 marks has been there. That's an added struggle towards the regions. So this is what we define it as: natural resources and industry. Further breakdown has been done. This is not a simple breakdown. Water resources is further breakdown into multiple points. We'll discuss it over the course of journey, right? Energy resources has been further broken down into multiple points. So we will handhold you, and we will carry forward you with respect to how to break down these resources, how to divide it into simpler parts on it. So we do have water resources, energy resources, industries, agriculture, mineral and forest, any other economic geography part, biotic and ocean resources. So I have to divide the sub-element within the resources. Comfortable with respect to it? We split, we macro split, micro 3 areas. So once you complete that entire path, catalyst path, you will be able to have a very clear picture. I will be able to go on to the examination with not by the word of confidence, by the subject confidence, with respect to something like I have written that exam, I have evaluated, I got the marks, I will be able to go on to it. Comfortable on it? Right? Second, section A, within the physical geography part. Right? The physical geography leans conceptual, because I do have something called climatology, I do have something called geomorphology, I do have something called oceanography, but that's a second important element. In the test series, we can't go straight into water resources. You need to know the climatology to write the water resources. You need to know geomorphology to write the mineral resources, right? So we go by section A and then come by section B. Understand? Section B predominates, right? And within that, I do have geomorphology, oceanography, and then climatology part, which is very simple. So I'm not wasting the time and then skipping across. So I do have climatology, geomorphology, ocean, and then physical part of India. Climatology and water resources are tied. Each has 11 questions. Water is again divided. We have water stress, we have groundwater decline, river interlinking, further multiple topics, whichever is being asked, which has a potential to be asked, right? Moving on to section C. This section will be speaking about the geophysical phenomena and the features. When we say geophysical phenomena, we are speaking about hazards. So you are not only reading the hazards for the disaster management part, you will be reading the hazards for the geography part with respect to it, followed by the geopolitics, whichever we discussed. Then we do have a new element which has been appearing, which has a potential to appear multiple more times with respect to it. So technology is GS paper 3. Technology in geography comes in papers, right? We have been asked with respect to robotics, drone technology in the previous years on that particular part. If you have looked into the previous year question papers, there are simple earth process like aurora borealis and aurora australis kind of earth processes, geomagnetic storm kind of earth processes, solar cycle kind of earth processes. These are basic earth processes which comes in the geophysical phenomena, right? And those are further, when we say hazard, that has 2 major components when it comes to geography. One is linked with respect to climate change. Other is natural hazard accelerated by anthropogenic factors, not just man-made factors. It's human-made factors. It will be anthropogenic factors. So we do have something like cloudburst to cryosphere melting, coral reef ecosystem, glacier systems, multiples of it. Your environment will be connected on this particular part, but you have to write geography, right? Heavily concentrated from 2017. Before 2017, we did not have this hazard part. Now we have been having with respect to it. The another reason is current affairs is oriented. From 2017, we see multiples of hazards happening every single time. If you have been reading this long A3 paper, long A3 paper, if you have been reading the long A3 paper and newspaper with respect to what is happening in Assam and what is happening in Arunachal Pradesh with respect to the flash floods, landslides and the monsoon, or what happens with respect to the Europe with respect to the melting with respect to it, there is multiples of hazards, and every time we have been discussing with respect to newspapers. Technology in geography, which will include drones, already been asked, GIS remote sensings, artificial intelligence integration, Juno mission, IRNS satellites. So multiples of technological factors has been asked, right? And then there is a new applied geospatial direction, which can occur because we are moving towards technology. We are bringing AI in every field. We are bringing technology in every field. We are bringing satellites in every field. So that will play a major role. So I have to read on that particular part as well. Comfortable? So now if you introspect yourself, whether we have completed our foundation courses with these elements of geography for the mains, whether we do have the notes, you will have a clear answer towards it. That we stand. But it's not something hard, because water resources or geopolitics or technology is not something hard. I need again a foundational course or something like that. It's not required. I just need to know what is being asked. I will be able to do it by myself, right? There's a huge difference between catching a fish by myself and someone giving me a food, right? We will handhold you to catch the fish. Right? Eat by yourself. And when you cook, men can cook. Men has to cook. Cooking is a basic life skill. Start cooking. Your life will be better. And when you cook, please feed me as well. Shall we move on? Any questions and answers on the geography part? This is the base orientation. After that, we'll move on to path. Right? Any questions and answers? Sorry, answers from me, questions from you. Any questions? Geography. Offline and online. Sailesh. Any questions? கேட்கலன்னா அம்மா கூட பால் கொடுக்க மாட்டா. Any questions? Nothing? Okay. Is the numbers too hard? Online le da question irukka. I just wanted to break it down to simpler part and demystify it. Do we have a clear idea what has been asked? We will follow with respect to it. Then if any online questions, I will take it before that. I'll just explain you the mains test series. There have been number of people already been joined on test series and also the path. So the test series is being framed in a way. What we do is like we start on 6th, right? 6th will give you a study schedule. 7th will give you a study schedule. Likewise, everyday study schedule will be there. 6th study schedule and 7th study schedule will be combined together as daily answer writing practice 1, right? We will be writing on 7th. Similarly, 8th, 9th combined together as DAWP 02. 10, 11 combined together as DAWP 03. On the 7th day, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, sorry, 11. Actually, பயங்கர strong நானு. இதான் proof, right? 11, that's why I took forestry as well. 12th, we do have the test 1. So whatever the portions that has been covered on this particular 6 days, whatever the test that you have written, 7th day you will write. Whoever has written the prelim catalyst with us, do understand it very easily, because we did it in the similar manner on the prelim catalyst last year. We have a week schedule, but the week schedule will be, this week schedule, let's assume first week is modern Indian history, freedom struggle. We will divide it into 6 parts. So each day you will have a study schedule, complete it. 2 days once you will write the test, 2 days once you will write the test. But this is not a test. Nowhere I use the word test here. It is a practice. Why it is a practice? I will give you a question a day before. or on the day of 7th morning. I will give you model answer day before. I will also tell you how to structure your answers day before. Or now, I'll give you day before. The reason for giving you a day before is many of the people who come across, they have multiple questions. Number one, sir, I've completed the portion, I've completed the classes, I do not know in Delhi as well. I'm not just polarizing Chennai, right? There are also people in Chennai who have said that I am good with respect to it, right? We are trying to handle everybody, right? So I do not know where are the prelims, where are the mains. I don't have a clear categorization, right? Anybody feel that after 1 year of your preparations, prelims? Thank you. So second is, I do not know how to write introduction. I do not know how to write conclusion. I do not know how to write the body. I do not know value addition with respect to it. Your model answers will have couple of introductions, couple of conclusions. Every model answer will carry one last element called topper's edge, which will be like a very high profile introduction and high profile conclusion part towards it. We will have a brief of summary of points will be there, and then the value addition points will be available. Diagram varanju kudukka maatom. We don't draw the diagram and give it to you. We'll tell you this diagram can be drawn. You have to draw the diagram on it. So you do only two practice on that. One is preparation and writing, time management and space management. So this one is largely included into time management practice and the space management practice, right? Then second thing is confidence. I will be able to write. I have to believe on that part. So we will be coming into the picture where front backfilled. So we will be able to have the confidence that I will be able to write. And so this one is not going to be evaluated because your model answer will be given. You're going to only practice time management, space management. The practice has to be completed on the part. But 7th day test is there, no? That is a test. So you come on the slot, you'll be given your question paper, write it, we will evaluate and give you, right? I'm not going to say 2 days I will give you evaluation, 1 day I will give you evaluation. I will take you maximum of 10 days. Maximum of 10 days. With that, you will go on 2-stage evaluation process. One, the faculty will evaluate, right? Who has appeared on interviews. I will evaluate. Second, reviewer. I am going to be the main reviewer. After that, the paper will be, if it is geography, you sit with me and discuss, right? Or the geography optional student who has been optional aspirant who was also the faculty here who will be sitting with respect to it. Then I will be available every single day here. Unless otherwise I am sick, right? Unless otherwise there is a flood and Chennai is being flooded. Right? I will be available on this room all day, right? 365 days. So that will go on unless otherwise there is a medical emergency or personal factors. So you'll be able to reach out and the door will always be open. Students from Vajiran knows me. My door was always open and my door is always open now also. That will continue to the process, right? Yeah. So after that, we move on to PPT. These are our questions. Correct. Oh, this is question and answer, no? Next. Those are our document which we have structured it heading by headings with respect to it. Okay. So 7th, which is on 7th day, which is on 12th July, you will write test number 1. Likewise, GS paper 1, you will write 6th test. Once the 6th test is being completed, 7th test is going to be your entire GS paper 1. Do you understand? 6th test will be sectional. Modern India, art and culture. Then we will have this particular part called world history and post-Indian consolidation. Then we will have world geography. Then we'll have Indian geography. Then we'll have society. Simple logic. One easy way to say that அங்க போனீங்கன்னா கார்த்திகன் சார் இருப்பாரு, ஜியோகிராஃபி நல்லா இருக்கும், மத்ததெல்லாம் நல்லா இருக்காது. அப்படிலாம் கிடையாது. 7 பேர் இங்க தரோம். So we'll start with respect to history. You will know where do we stand here, right? So after this 6 days we complete on that particular part, we move on to GS paper 1, complete paper you will write. After that we'll go on to subunits of GS paper 2. 4 sectional test, GS paper 2. 4 sectional test, GS paper 3. 4 sectional test, GS paper 4. After that, so you have written 18 sectional test, 4 full length test associated. After you complete another 4 full length test, this is you can write anytime, right? Between December 20 to February 28. You do know it. Many of you have been mouthing it, right? Because we'll start preliminary test series, and preliminary test series catalyst will also go in the same manner. Sectional, everyday syllabus unit, everyday daily answer writing practice, test. So multiple times more. This is mains test series. Many people ask, what is the difference between mains test series and the path? Path is again personalized mentoring, academic transformation, and handholding. You will have an individual mentor. This is not just sitting a mentor with respect to it. We have multiple programs on that part. This individual mentor, you can have doubt clarification, you have a handholding. Right? UPSC. The amount of stress that UPSC candidate undergoes, there is always a space to vent out. அதுக்காக நாங்க counselors இல்ல. Right? Then you do have mains test series, which whatever the schedule we discussed, along with that we will be given you a prelim question paper. So first test, modern India, when you have been writing, you will also write 25 questions or 50 questions of modern India. Same day we will finish. Sir, society varudilla sir, world history is coming now, internal security is coming, ethics is coming. What will I write? You will write current affairs. So what you will do is like, before you complete your mains on December 20, you will finish your mains portion. You will also finish your preliminary portion. You will finish a year of whatever may be the months that can be covered on current affairs part. December you are ready for preliminary. December you are not starting for your preliminary in path, right? After that, you will start your prelim test series, which is again a catalyst, same manner in December. This will go till May. After that, your mains test series from June 2027 to August 2027. Path intent is make you clear the prelim. Path intent is to make you clear the mains. Path intent is to make you clear the service. That's path order intent. There can be question paper like 2023 or 26. Helmet still we will be able to hold that part. That's what we have been practicing. After that, so you are writing the mains. That's the intent of the path. Apart from that, you do have essay classes. Wherever required, we'll give you the classes. Wherever there is a gap in our preparation, we'll give you the classes. That especially with respect to not just Chennai. The crowd, most of it in online is Delhi. I want students from there. So we will provide you essay classes, essay test. Okay. In the mains test series, essay test. 5 essay tests will be included. I will explain that slightly later. I missed it out. Essay classes and essay test. Then you do have ethics class and ethics test will be available. Then you do have current affairs program, which will be 2 parts from December to May for your preliminary, and then from June to August for your next mains. We'll do on that part. Then you will have value added materials. You will have value addition classes will be there. Then you will have an interview guidance program. So this path is like an 1.5 years of journey to 2-year journey. Starting from July 2026, we move on to somewhere the path of final stage of interview. That's the intent. Intent. When we say there is an intent, intent does not happen in a very simpler path, no? Intent has multiples of subcomponents. So we define you the intent and we define you the process. Process should give you results. May not. But my process will be correct. My intent is correct. Results can be anything. But when the intent is correct, process is correct, things will be correct. I always believe in one thing. Ennam pol valkai, ennam pol dhaan valkai. When my intent is correct, when my ennam is correct, results has to be correct. Valkai nalla irukum. Adu enna nadandhalum. So you will be able to achieve that particular part. As simple. Now we'll take some questions on geography and we'll see how we approach the geography questions one after the other. You have taken the PYQs. And I will tell you how introductions can be written on that part. For example, right? There can be a question on, let's say, question matu pathukren. What is twister? Why majority of twisters are observed in the areas around the Gulf of Mexico? So this was a PYQ. One part is what is twister, another one majority observed across Gulf of Mexico, right? So if a question has been there, there are two parts towards the questions. ரொம்ப simple logic, right? People always feel I need content. I come across people even in this means. They are not writing the daily, some of them are not writing the daily answer writing practice and say that நான் படிச்சுட்டு வந்து எழுதுறேன். எப்போ படிக்கிறது, எப்போ முடிக்கிறது, study, when to complete, when to write. That's the biggest questions that never ends in UPSC, right? So let's assume someone has 80% of the content, but understanding of the question, demand, context, breaking the question, simplifying it, right? Demand, context, breaking and simplifying it. Either பண்ணிட்டு you will get one more your answer paper with respect to proper structure and proper content with value addition, marks will come. But if your structure is not good, your value addition is not good, your content is exceptionally high. I'm not writing about twister, I'm not writing about the question that has been asked, I'm writing something else. It's of no use. My time periods, there used to be a large amount of senior junior interaction in my college. Senior junior interaction நான் ரொம்ப mellow down அழகா சொல்றேன், அது என்னன்றது நீங்களே புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. So that interactions where there is one good senior of mine there, எப்பயுமே தான் சொல்லுவார், he will ask some questions, 2 or 3 people will be there, they will ask questions, every questions will be like பார்த்தியும் வடிவேல் கேட்கற மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும், எந்த கேள்வி சொன்னீங்கனாலும் அடி விடும். Sorry, interaction நடக்கும், right? Interactions will be happening on that particular part. So you can't answer any questions. So what we always do is like we will say something else completely irrelevant. அப்ப அவர் தான் சொல்லுவார், என்ன இருக்கான்னு கேட்டா என்ன இருக்கு இல்லைன்னு சொல்லணும். எங்க அப்பா விவசாயி, நிலம் வாங்கியிருக்காரு, எள்ளு வாங்குவாரு, உழவு ஓட்டுவாரு, அப்புறமா என்ன எள்ளு வரும், அந்த எள்ளு அறுத்து நான் என்ன கொடுப்பேன், அதெல்லாம் வேலைக்காகாது. So there is something called demand. What the question asks you. There is something called context to the question, not content, context to the questions. There is something called making the question very simplified with respect to it. When you break the question, what you get is you get part 1 of the question, part 2 of the question. So I have to write the demand of the question, I have to write to the context of the question, I have to write to the parts of the question that has been asked. In that, you give a clear structure. In that, you give a clear content. You value add it to a maximum extent. Marks will be high. Right? Second thing, people take more time. Are we clear with respect to it? Shall we move to the next slide? People take more time period on one particular path, which is time management. The time management problem comes because there is something called intro, conclusion. I say this from 2012. When you write the mains for the first time, no, you will feel like Kamalagasan in Guna movie. உன்னை நினைக்கும் போது மனசுல அப்படியே அருவி மாதிரி கொட்டுது, ஆனா எழுதணும்னு நினைக்கும் போது வார்த்தை முட்டுது, right? So if anyone from Delhi is being there, its literal translation is the hero stills the heroine. When I think of you, the love that I have towards that hero, that heroine, not me, okay? When they speak with each other, the hero says to the heroine, when I think of you, the love that I have with you flows like a waterfall, but when I try to write, as I'm an illiterate, I'm unable to write. அதுதான் இங்க நடக்கும். என்ன எழுதலாம், எப்படி ஆரம்பிக்கலாம்? Simple logic of writing is, think about Onion movie. First எடுத்தோன்னே ஒரு லவ் லெட்டர் எழுதி அவங்க அப்பா அம்மாட்ட கொடுப்பாரா, விட்டுட்டு போயிடும். So it doesn't work. You have to write it to the structure, you have to write it to the content, and you have to write it to the question that has been asked. So intro, conclusions. What types of intro can be written and what types of conclusions can be written, right? Intro can be basically definition based intro. If the question has been asked, one type of intro can be definition. I can write what is twister, simple logic. Or the second type of introduction can be definition combined with a data point. I can speak about definition, I can speak about definition plus data. Because the question is, what is twister? That's only 2 marks. 8 mark of the particular question is why they are largely concentrated on Gulf of Mexican regions. So if I add one data point to say where it has been distributed across the world, I'm writing an intro for both the parts of the question. If I write only the definition towards it, I have written introduction only for the 2 mark, I have not written introduction to the 8 marks. Comfortable? No, sir, I don't want to write the definition. I don't want to write the thing. Let me write about the process. How the process of twister is being formed, how it can be made. So the fourth one can be map integrated definition. You can, because it is geography, you can integrate the definition with respect to the locational points. Map points can be integrated on that. Or current affairs. The fourth one can be definition with map. The fifth one can be current affairs oriented. So I do have 6 different styles of introduction to be there. Or introduction right? Before 2017, if somebody comes to you and says that take the pestle approach, go to the examination, before 2017 it would have worked. Today pestle approach out of 20 questions may work for 1 question, 2, maximum 3. The rest of the things and all, you should have different approaches to the questions. You can't frame that approach on the whole. So we'll frame those approaches in the entire path. Clear with respect to it? The next, we spoke about 4 and 5. Apart from that, you will have a topper's edge, which will be given in your model answers, which will be given in your path. Similarly, the next one, which is conclusion oriented. So if you are going to write conclusions, conclusion can be synthesis oriented. You can synthesize the entire question of twister, and also with respect to why it has been occurring in different parts of the world, synthesize to its impact, synthesize to its vulnerability, synthesize to its hazard. You can synthesize to any manner that you want. Comfortable? Synthesize oriented. Forward looking. In this question, I can't write way forward, right? Because it is only twister. But many of the questions in GS papers, there can be a possibility of way forward. So conclusions can be there. Forward looking, conclusions to be there. Third way of writing conclusions, right? Link with the vision. Linking with the vision. The vision can be anything. Government of India's vision, like elimination of poverty. IMD's vision. NDRF vision, National Disaster Organization's vision. United Nations vision. Millennium Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals. எல்லாத்துலயும் ஒரு விஷன் கொடுத்திருப்பாங்க. So the visions has to be studied only for either if the question comes from the vision, I can write it, or I can put it into conclusion element, right? So the vision is not only SDG, because when we see the mains papers, no, everybody writes SDG 11, SDG 11, SDG 12. 20 questions SDG எழுதுனீங்கன்னா என்ன பண்றது? If you write all the questions with respect to SDG again and again, what to do with respect to it? Temperature கொஞ்சம் குறைங்க. உங்களுக்கு கம்ஃபர்ட்டபிளா இருக்கா? எனக்கு தான் இருக்குதா? சரி. Shall we move further? Right? So it can be linked with respect to multiple. Leave it. இது இந்த இதுல இருந்து வர ஹிட். Then next, if by any chance any questions ask you a problem, then the conclusion has to be solution oriented, right? Solution oriented conclusions. Solution oriented conclusions. Then if any complex topic is being asked, take a reasoned middle path conclusion. Reasoned middle path based conclusions. See, you have to understand which conclusion to be used on which part. Whenever there is a possibility of way forward, go with the way forward. Whenever there is a possibility of linking with the vision, link with the vision. When there is a problem, take a middle path. Whenever there is a problem has been asked, solution can be given, or when there is a controversial questions, take a middle path over it. Similarly, there can also be a conclusion with respect to topper's edge, where it should stand out. Ella paper length stand out, right? So just speaking about 6 types of introduction and 6 types of conclusions. இது எப்படி எழுதணும்ன்றது தெரியணும், right? So without that, we will be stuck there. எழுதுறதுக்கு கஷ்டம், right? Then diagrams has to be there. So an intro, this multiple people would have told you all the time periods. எப்படி ஆன்சர் எழுதணும்னா intro எழுதணும், body எழுதணும், conclusion, right? But how to write the intro? how to write the conclusion, how to write the body, how to add value addition is the part. Comfortable? So I may start with respect to twister as an introduction with either with respect to twisters, features of twisters, moisture irundichna, instability irundichna. I will give you 4 major points where a twister has been formed. Naal heading avladha. Comma, where it has been distributed on data point or map related, that is top passage. Then I will write how is the twister has been formed, where it has been formed, why Gulf of Mexico or the mid latitude regions as it high with respect to it, conclude maybe with respect to, here I can't go for linking, vision, solution and all those things with respect to it, maybe I conclude by the process, or maybe I conclude with respect to what are the disaster management that can be done on that particular part, right? So done with respect to it. I'll take one more questions on it. The process of desertification does not have climate boundaries. Justify. Okay. So, process of desertification does not have climate boundaries. ரொம்ப simple question. So, 1, this is first part A, I have to interlink with respect to first part B. I have to break it in this manner. There are no 2 parts to the question. There is only 1 part to the questions. There are an interdisciplinary part of the question has been there. Climate boundaries, nowhere India has been told. So I have to safely assume that is being discussed for the world. So this is a world geography question. So world map has to come, or else I will have to draw continent by continent maps over the things. Not all continents, maybe 3 continents can be put on others. Starting with respect to desertifications, every kudukla. I can give a definition. Definition plus data, definition plus map, definition plus current affairs. Then I can also speak about the process introduction. Possible with respect to it? Yes. So either of things I can be given on that part. If you can beautifully frame within 3 lines all this combined, that is a topper edge introduction. That's all. Then climate boundaries. I can't straight away jump into the climate boundaries. I have to say what are the types of factors of desertification has to be there. But I can't write it isolated because question adilla. I can't write it isolated. I have to combine with respect to it. This desertification is being usually present in the tropical regions, but today it is happening in the temperate regions as well. Upper climate boundary illa. So there is no climate boundary with respect to it. So there is no climate boundary on that particular part. Comfortable? So for example, if I am going to speak about desertification, we think desertification is available only on the desert. Desertification is available in Ganga Delta, alluvial soil, Kadar region, Bangar regions, high alluvium, resurfacing of fertility with there. I am having desertification. Upper climate boundary, I don't have a climate boundary. Right? So I can speak about these factors in this particular part. So take each and every type of process of desertifications. That can be salinization, that can be alkalization, that can be deforestation, that can be faulty agricultural practices, that can be faulty irrigational practices. Combine. Right? Take an example of China's northwestern part of China. We are taking the water from eastern China to the northwestern part of China, growing cotton cultivation in today's part of the world. Taklamakan desert from Brahmaputra or from any of the rivers. In saline regions, if you are getting irrigation, what will happen? What happened in Indira Gandhi Canal will happen there. Indira Gandhi Canal that confidence has to come. That's all. Nothing more than that is required on that. Conclusion. How do you conclude? Again, going back to our basic elements. Solution. Can I give a solution towards it? This question demands solution. Can I give way forward? Yes. Can I give a solution like linking with the vision? If I have read what is UNCCD, United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, that convention to combat desertification would have spoken about something called land neutrality, net neutrality, vision on 2030. 2030 vision. Twister, I am not linking with the vision. This one requires, I am not taking a balanced middle path. This is a balanced middle path. Desertification, that's not possible to be put across. I can't say lightly desertification, slightly not desertification and all that. I have to take the vision and I have to speak with respect to the vision. Comfortable? Shall I move on to the next questions with respect to it? Right? You just Take that and then put across. Next. The one questions which we already took with respect to the geopolitics, right? How India see resource rich Africa in the contemporary world. This question is two elements towards it regions. These has to be interconnected. That's the question. How do you see resource rich Africa? All you need to know is know the countries of Africa. What is the dominant resource that has been available in the regions, right? Then you need to know what are the resources that I don't have. Simple logic. The question is nothing more than that. In second standard, you might have forget your pencil. Here you கேட்டு வாங்கியிருக்கோமா திலக் வித்தியாசமா பார்க்கறப்பல நான் திருடினதில்லைன்ட்டு, right? So you get that particular question, you get something new. So we are going to do some collaborations here. We do developmental assistance there, we do community development there, we accept their sovereignty and we build development there. In return, we also pay monetary factors and then take that particular resource out of it, right? How do you see the resource rich Africa on this particular part? So what do I have? Do you have oil? Sir, don't go into micro, sir. Okay. Energy, water. I can take the water from there, right? Agriculture, industry, mineral resources, right? So this, where do I get the topic from? Syllabus breakdown. If we have breakdown, we have broken down the syllabus. No, from the syllabus breakdown, I would written the topics. What is asked from it? There is something called geomorphology. There is something called climatology. There is something called oceanography. This and all I can't take. I can take something out of it, right? I have 4 major heading. Can I divide this 4 major heading into multiple subheadings? Within the energy, can I write about oil? Yes. For EV energy, I do require lithium. I do require cobalt. 3 resource எழுத முடியுமா? In terms of agriculture, pulses, then cocoa, chocolate manufacturing, oil palm oil, which has been cultivated in the regions of west coastal African regions, tea, Kenya, coffee, Kenya, Ethiopian regions can be taken. Your regions like Malawi, all these regions have been cultivating a large amount of tobacco. Tobacco is an important crop. But if you consume tobacco, cancer will come for free. And cancer does not discriminate, cancer does not differentiate. அதுக்கு rich, poor, men, women, gender, discrimination, oppression, ஒரு வெங்காயமும் தெரியாது. நான் வெங்காயம்னு சொன்னேன். புரியலன்னா நான் ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியாது. Right? So, shall I move on to that particular part? So, I can write about this agriculture. Then, industry. What are the resources of industry I can depend on them? Or what are the resources of industry that they can depend on me? Right? Question never said, how do India extract the resource rich Africa and contemporary world? How do India see it? Something I give, something you take. Barter system is happening here. How do I find the market? How do I take the raw material? There is a market there. I can go into as a market also for that particular part. I do have huge human capital there. Labor cost is cheap there. So there is something called population geography. Can be written on that particular part. Mineral resources can be discussed. Other than that, whatever the resources of energy resources, what we discussed with respect to it. We do have rare earth metals. We do have multiples of metals which we have been speaking about, critical minerals in that particular regions. We have gold. We have diamonds. Right? உடனே அயன் படத்துக்கு போயிடக்கூடாது. டுக்டுக்கும் அவங்களுக்கும் என்ன கதை தெரியுமான்னு ஒரு கதை பேசுவாங்கல்ல, அதுக்கெல்லாம் போயிடக்கூடாது. Right? So all this will be there. Conclude with respect to it. How do you write the introduction here? We'll go back to our notes. நீங்க சொல்லுங்க எப்படி introduction எழுதுவீங்க? You tell me how do you write introduction? Here what definition I can see? Current account deficit, import export. சரி, வேற? Then India-Africa relations. Can I also go on? I will give you later points. Map points. Then can I write with respect to Africa's resource rich regions and India's deficit? Am I energy secured? I'm food secured. Food security has been there in terms of cereals production, pulse productions, oil seeds productions. So, interconnecting. Write an interdisciplinary introduction here, which we have not discussed till now. So, an introduction can also be interdisciplinary, question based. Do I write the conclusion here? Can I write way forward here? Solution here? Linking with the data, vision, middle path? Every middle path is doing. How it is beneficial to both. Balanced development. In this part, whatever you read in IR, international relations, how India's development assistance to developing countries is differing from China's assistance to developing countries. If you do know the difference between China's way of development in developing countries and India's way of development in developing countries, you take that element of principles in it and write it. That's the middle path. We give developmental assistance, we not give debt trap assistance. And the debt trap assistance in China, question deviation. You should know the principle. You write it, developmental assistance and mutual development, brotherhood, tax port. Are we comfortable with respect to it? Any doubts on this part? No? Fine. We'll take a break because my, what is the time? 6. Oh no, we are not taking a break. After 1.5 hours, we'll take a break, right? So, are we comfortable with respect to how to use an introduction and how to use a conclusion? How to generate the body points? You understand what is demand and access? So, we'll be writing with respect to it. So, when you write the mains test series, right, what we will also do is, we will, couple of points that I have forgot. There is an orientation program before every test. You will be given a recorded video, right? It will be a very seamless online and offline platform will be created. No need to worry about that part, right? So, orientation will be done on that particular part. We'll speak, break down particles. Post-test, there will be a discussion video will be available. Comfortable? So, this will be there. Apart from that, in both GS mains test series and the part, which is mentorship program, you do have an essay. This essay consists of 5 essays, which is being categorized into 4+1. The 4 essay in a sectional essay, right? You will be asked to write 1 essay from the choices, right? You will be given the question paper up front. We will give you a brainstorming document, not a model answer. Essay model answer nobody can give you. Essay nobody can say essay has to be written like this. Because essay can be written in multiple dimensions. That's the beauty of an essay. Right? Shashi Tharoor எழுதலாம் ஒன்னும் விளங்காது நம்மளும் எழுதலாம். So there is a huge difference between that particular path, right? So you will be given an essay topic, you will be given a brainstorming document, read it, but brainstorming document is going to be 1-page document, 1-sided document. இப்படியெல்லாம் think பண்ணலாம்ன்றது மட்டும் தான் இருக்கும். Headings will be there. You read it, you come and show your originality there, right? Then 5th essay is going to be your test. As told, simply hand holding. But in path, which is a mentorship program, which will have essay classes followed by the essay test will be there. There it is not going to be 5, it will be multiples of essay test will be there. There we will start in a very different structured manner. We'll take you from step 1 to step 2. Are we clear on that part? Any doubts still now? Ethics we will have classes. Ethics classes, there's a difference between ethics foundation classes and the classes which will be done on path. The difference is we approach the exam. You are not going to come and say that in the philosopher Aristotle or Aryabhatta or whoever maybe is has not ethics into the philosophy look. So philosophy, when the classes has been dealt, there is a large amount of storytelling will come with respect to it. That comes in foundation classes. But the biggest problem I have heard from the students when they come into ethics is ஒன்னு ethics class எனக்கு புரியல இல்லனா எனக்கு தெரியல எப்படி எழுதுறதுன்னு தெரியல. The biggest thing is I do not know how to write the ethics into paper. Maybe the faculty taught me well. I do know the ethics and full beautiful, but I don't know how to convert into paper. So we will speak about how to convert into paper. Test 280 mark 130 எப்படி எடுக்கலாம். So we have a very simple approach towards this entire examinations, right? 800 to 825. That number. Mains பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் இது நம்மளோட target. Considering you come in OBC. If you are in general, 850 to 875. So target மறுபடியும் அதிகமாகும், right? Because in South, we'd have a large of OBC, either this target or general target, 825 to 850 to 875. In such a scenarios, let's keep your optional somewhere 250 to 270, right? This I can only discuss for geography optional students. Rest of the optional students, you have to find your own base, right? 250 to 270 percent. Let's assume 800 is my target. 250 is out. How much I do require? Maximum na பயங்கர strong. நீங்களே சொல்லிருங்க. அது ரெண்டு mathematics student வேற. I always feel mathematics people who over study mathematics know either alien or god. ரெண்டுத்து மேலயும் எனக்கு நம்பிக்கை கிடையாது. மேக்ஸ் மேலயும் நம்பிக்கை இல்லை. ரெண்டுன்னு சொன்னது மேக்ஸ் மேத்தமேட்டிக்ஸ். Shall I move further? நீங்களா புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா நான் பொறுப்பாக முடியாது. So if it is 800 or 250 போச்சுன்னா எவ்வளோ? அருண் 550 then it has to be 125 to 130 in SA எடுக்கணும். அப்படின்னா 425 in GS SA. இதுதான் டார்கெட். இந்த டார்கெட்டுக்கு ஆடணும். You have to play to this target. Why? You get 825. Let's assume last year ranks, right? 730 Sailesh. 717. This is the mains OBC cleared mark, base cutoff. 932. 931 is the requirement. அவருக்கு தெரியும். ஏன் அவருக்கு தெரியும்னா one of the hardest person was being hit by single mark. ஒரு mark. Nobody here understands what the pain is. When I say it, it pains him. I know that. But that's some things which is hard. I left service by 3 marks in a year. 9 in another year. Very first year I left it by huge margin. That is because interview என்ன வச்சு செஞ்சாங்க. மெயின்ஸ்ல நிறைய மார்க் இன்டர்வியூல வச்சு செஞ்சாங்க. பக்கத்துல போயிரும். அதெல்லாம் வலி. வரக்கூடாதுன்றதுக்கு தான். Because we worked on that part. Here whoever has been there. Basically, let me start with respect to it. I went into daily wages labor at the age of 12. Whoever knows me know me. 21 ரூபா என் கதை 21 ரூபாயில ஆரம்பிச்சது. முதல் நாள் கூலி. அடுத்த வேலை சாப்பாடு இல்லைன்னு. Next day food is not available on the plates. Night food இல்லைன்னு. If I come from that stage to this stage, the only thing that gave me is education. பிச்சை எடுப்பினும் கற்றல் நன்றின்னு போனதுதான். I have dyslexia. என்னால இன்னைக்கு ஒரு சென்டென்ஸ் சேர்ந்த மாதிரி படிக்க தெரியாது. ஆல் மை ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் நோ. நான் பாதி எழுதிக்கிட்டே இருப்பேன், ஓரியன்டேஷன் இப்படி எழுதிக்கிட்டே இருப்பேன், அப்புறம் எப்படின்ட்டு போயிடுவேன். ஏன் திலக்? ஸ்பெல்லிங் மறந்து போயிடும். So if I can go to interview thrice, I can work in public service commissions of Tamil Nadu, I can be in state planning commissions. நீங்கெல்லாம் என்னை விட 10 times 100 times more. Because 12th நான் ஒரே ஒரு தான் பாஸ். இந்த 12th ஃபெயில் மாதிரி தான். Only time I passed is 12th public examination. All the other times fail. எங்க அப்பா ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்துச்சு. எல்லாத்துக்கும் கையெழுத்து போட்டாரு. ஏன்னா நான் தான் கையெழுத்து போட்டேன். So if I can move to that level, every single person, இங்க இன்டெலிஜென்ஸுக்குலாம் வேலை இல்லை. You need to be an hard working person. The requirement is very simple on this particular part. It requires hard work. It requires dedication. It requires not getting deviated. All three is simply consistency. So if you are here for consistency, this UPSC preparation is yours. அடிச்சு விளையாட முடியும். Right? Coming back to this target, this is the target. So if this is the target of 425 in GS, you need to score 100 plus in each paper, right? 100 plus in each paper. எல்லா பேப்பர்லயும் 100 plus எடுக்க முடியுமா? Yes, you can take 100 plus in this paper, 100 plus in this paper. A very good amount of 100 plus in this paper. Achieving 100 itself is hard. 10 வருஷத்தை எடுத்துக்கோங்க. You take 8 years of UPSC GS paper 3. You score 90 in GS paper 3. 90 வாங்கிட்டடா GS 3ல. அப்படி இருக்கும். People who are in service would have scored at times 100 also, 69, 70 also with respected. அப்போ இது இங்க ஈக்குவேட் பண்ணணும். You have to equate it here to ethics. This should come to 425. This should come to 125, 550, 250, 800. Why 800 and 825 is the target? Assume that you took 800 is the target. You have been given 135 marks. You are in interview. You are in service. Interview mark கம்மியா வந்துருச்சு. அதுக்காக நம்ம திரும்பி உட்கார முடியாதுல்ல. We have to achieve that mark on the maximum extent on that particular part. Always remember. Mains gives you service. Personality test gives you rank. அதான் மெயின்ஸ்ல ரேங்க் வராது. மெயின் சர்வீஸ் கொடுக்கணும். I'll take the old roommate's story. He literally kicks me every time I tell the story to the students, but still I get to the story. He went on to the interview for he was already in service. He went on to the interview for basic family reasons. Went on to interview. He opted for IRS. They thought he is downgrading the service. In the interview, the very first question asked, he is an agriculture graduate. The very first question asked, Dolpur house உள்ள வரும்போது ஒரு சர்க்கிள் இருந்துச்சு இல்லையா படிக்கட்டுக்கு முன்னாடி that circle ஒரு கிராஸ் இருக்கும் கிராஸோட சயின்டிபிக் நேம் சொல்லு அப்படின்னாங்க. I am not joking. That was the first question to be asked. அங்க கிராஸ் இருந்துச்சா முதல்ல அங்க சர்க்கிள் இருந்துச்சா அப்படி இருக்கும். They asked him, what is it? From then on, all the questions went on to his like, no, I don't know. Came out. கூப்பிட்டார் தம்பி சகோதரர் அப்படின்னாரு. எனக்கு நான் எப்படி போச்சு? Because those times were the two optionals. We both had same optional, geography and agriculture. We studied together. That time I was not writing mains, he was writing. எல்லாமே நாங்க பேசினது அங்க வந்துச்சு. ஒரு மீன்ஸ்க்கு அப்புறம் ஃபோன் பண்ண சகோதரர் வந்துருச்சு அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஹை goes on with respect to jumps. இன்டர்வியூ முடிச்சுட்டு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃபோன் கால். என்னாச்சுன்னா அப்படின்னு, தம்பி வெளில வந்தேன், so போர்டு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பிளேசர் கைட்டினேன், ஷர்ட் டக் பண்ணதை எடுத்து விட்டேன். I removed my tie, folded my hands, straight away came to the tea shop, drinking the tea. Not even collected my TADA for the train second class ticket. வாங்கவும் மாட்டேன். என்கிட்ட இன்டர்வியூ அப்படின்னு நீ கேட்காத, நானும் சொல்ல மாட்டேன் அப்படின்னாரு. டீ குடிச்சு முடியறதுக்குள்ள எல்லாத்தையும் சொல்லிட்டாரு. He went around all those things before we complete the tea. சொல்லி முடிச்சிட்டார். All those has been done. Then when I told him very simply, அக்ரி பேப்பர் எழுதி முடிச்சுட்டு வந்து இதே தான் என்கிட்ட சொன்னார். தம்பி அக்ரி பேப்பர் எப்படி இருந்துச்சு நீயும் கேட்காத, நானும் கேட்க மாட்டேன். பேப்பர் கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் கிழிச்சு போட்டேன். I have teared down the paper. Don't ask me any questions on agri. Let's go to a movie. Killing me softly ஒரு மூவி வந்திருக்கு, அங்க போலாம் அப்படின்னாரு. அங்க போனா அவன் வச்சு செய்யற மறுபடியும் கில்லிங் தான் சாஃப்ட்லி தான். படமும் மோசமா இருக்கும், போர் அடிக்கிற மாதிரி தான் இருந்துச்சு எங்களுக்கு அந்த டைம் பீரியட்ல. நான் சொன்னேன் அப்படிதான் சொன்னீங்க. You went on to the interview. இதுதான் சொல்றீங்க சர்வீஸ். I checked his rank. Mains mark came, rank came, 160 something rank was there on that particular part. Mains mark first time வந்து பேரு ரேங்க் மார்க் எல்லாம் போட்டாங்க. ஃபோன் பண்ணி சகோதரர் எவ்வளவு வந்திருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னு. என்ன மிஞ்சி போனா 100 மார்க் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க அப்படின்னாரு. அவுட் ஆஃப் 300, 100 was his expectation. Exactly 100 was given. Rank was 168 or 165, 160, something around 160. His mains mark was all India topper 4. Because his interview mark was 100, he landed in 160. Which would have given in IAS also. Mains gives you service. Interview gives you rank. இதை நீங்க எப்போ முடிவு பண்றீங்களோ, when you think of that, done with respect to it. The other, why I'm stressing on this part, other mistakes that people do on this particular journey is, what they'll do is like, let me start mains. அப்படின்னு ஆரம்பிப்பாங்க. I've spoken to a couple of people here who came up with the same intent. I will read GS paper 3 now. I will read GS paper 4 now, or 1 now, 2 now. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஆப்ஷனல் படிக்கிறேன், கடைசியா எக்ஸாம் எழுதுறேன். அதெல்லாம் வேலைக்கே ஆகாது. Why you don't work on that particular part? You will never complete this. There will be one deviation, distraction, right? No test, no evaluation. எதுவுமே நடக்காது. Day to day, my friend always used to say with respect to 22 years of friendship, அதான் சொல்லுவான், நம்ம ஏன்டா நம்ம மட்டும் கஷ்டப்படுறோம்னா, மப்பு நமக்கு நெத்தில ரிவீட் இருக்கு. மப்பு இந்த வசூல் ராஜா MBBSல கமல் சொல்ல இன்னொரு ரிவீட் டெஸ்ட்ன்றது ரிவீட். Every day one repeat will be there. Today I have to complete this portion. Tomorrow I have to complete this portion. The daily answer writing practice has to be written on the institution. Sunday I have to write the test. Next day I have to run again. Next day I have to run again. You will have one repeat every single day. Don't worry, we will keep the repeat active by calling you if you miss one test. Phone பண்ணிரும். ஹர்ஷா வரல, சித்து எழுதல, சரத் காணோம். All this will come on that particular part. Right? So we will pull you with respect to it, and this should be the mantra. As simple as that. Mains gives you service, interview gives the things. Right? 145. My mains, my PG guide always says that ஒரு மணி நேரத்துக்கு மேல ஒரு தலையில ஒண்ணுமே ஏறாது அப்படின்னு. So he always gives 1 hour break after break. Those who have been with me in Shankar or Vajiram knows me. Break irukadu. 3 hours, 3.5 hours will go on with respect to it without that. But when I was studying the mains, PG in TIS, I realized when I was sitting as a student, அந்த ஒரு மணி நேரத்துக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு டீயை குடிச்சிட்டு வந்து லெமன் டீ கேவலமா தான் இருக்கும். அந்த லெமன் டீயை குடிச்சிட்டு வந்து உட்காந்தாதான் அப்புறம் கண்ணு தெரியும். So we'll have 5 minutes of break. After the 5 minutes of break, Vasanta Pandian sir will be here. We'll discuss with respect to society. Maybe take a different approach. He will show you some PYQs, question papers with respect to it. Similar presentation model will go on that part, right? And then he will teach you how to write society. And he is one who has appeared on UPSC interview thrice with society optional. He has done masters in data and social sciences, again on the social aspect part. One of the best to find you can find for the Indian society or the sociology optional, right? Great. But we don't teach sociology optional here. We teach only GS part with respect to it, right? I was just saying that he is a good mind. That's all. No simple, nothing else, right? Any doubts on the online part? Great, clear? So 5 minutes of break. 5 நிமிஷம் தான் 5 நிமிஷம் தான். சரியா? கதவை பூட்டிட்டோம். வெளில போக முடியாது. No, nothing can go out with respect to it. You can sit here or you can use the loo. Fine? So online people, hold on for the 5 minutes, take a break, come back again, we'll start.
Good evening. My name is Asant. I attended 3 interviews in civil service. Now we are going to see about the society part. How many of you have wrote mains previously? Is there anyone? Or how many of you from sociology optional? Only 2. Okay. I just want to know that if it is a sociological student, somehow we have to restrict ourselves to write the GS answer like a sociology student. Yeah, sometimes the urbanization as a sociology student is totally different than the GS paper answer. That's why I just want to know. Yeah. Whether you go through the last year question or any question bank, like how many questions is asked from society section in GS? Do you have any idea? It is like how many marks? What is the average? 6 questions. It is minimum 60 marks. Okay. Okay. And 45 plus 30, 75. See, we just did a small analysis. It is like from 2013 to 2025. How many questions has been asked in GS paper 1? And within this society topic, the entire syllabus can be segregated into 4 sections. Only section A, section B, and section C and D. And based on the section only, we can focus. It is like few sections are given more importance in the mains. That will change based on the recent years. Some years they will focus more on women empowerment. Some years they will be focused on secularism, communalism. Few of the areas UPSC will always continuously they will give questions in that. It is like you can expect secularism, communalism every year. If you are taking the last 5 years question, you can see that at least 3 years they will ask communalism and secularism. Similarly, we can segregate the society syllabus into this 4 section. And the first one is the society and diversity. Out of this, from 2013 to 25, they have asked 76 questions in society. That 76 means some may be in 10 marks, some may be in 15 marks. In that, the 24% of the question came in the section A. That is society and diversity. And 42% of the question came from the section B, which is women population poverty urbanization. This may be high priority section that they can ask more question on this continuously. It is like if it is an urbanization, it is an open topic. The urbanization topic can be given in the question. It is like it is not something like in earlier, because I just want to share my experience. It is like at least it will give you a background. It is like I attended 3 interviews that back in 2014, 17 and 18. And after that, I did my master's and now I am working as a consultant in government. During that time in 2012, 13, 14, when we are getting into that preparation time, that most of the society question came directly. It is like what is the salient features of caste, how the caste system affect India's development. These things anyone can answer easily. During that time, the time is also a factor, and you can easily answer those questions. But nowadays, what they are asking is something and you have to answer. It's not during our time we used to take that society section very easily. It is like this is not something new, right? If you are taking a geography or economic or culture ancient, we may not have opinion about that. But this caste, tribe, any one that urbanization. So we will take that the society, we can answer any questions easily. That was the case in 2012 and 13. Nowadays, the question is totally in a different way. Like you should know the question. For an example, last year there is a question called smart city mission. It is like how the smart city mission will address the distributive justice. For that, earlier it is like the smart city mission. For that, you can just read about the smart city mission and its features and its objective and everything. Now, you have to link the smart city mission with the distributive justice. For that, you should know about the distributive justice. You should know about the component of the smart city, and you should link the both. For that, it is like you have to give more to the society, because on an average 60 to 100 in 2024, I think it is 95 100 marks came from society. Means that if you are scoring 50% of the mark, that is a big mark, because another out of 250 only, right? Out of 250, if you are scoring 50 or 60, that is a big mark, because the average mark in GS paper 1 is 100, 110, 120. That is the maximum mark. If you are scoring 40 to 50 in this, if they are asking 100, if it is a 60, at least you have to score 30 plus. And most of all the people will write about these answers, right? It is like if they are asking about some geographical concept which is very unique or very much detailed, technical, the people from the geographical background, it's easy. Other people don't answer, they may not have an idea. But when it comes to society, all will write an answers, because everyone will have some kind of understanding about the topic. It is not something new. But how we have to make a difference? For making a difference only, it will give you more marks. And it is like if I'm invigilator, I want to paper. If I'm seeing that the previous two answers are same, but now this answer is something different, then I will give more marks. That is a human psychology, right? If all the answers are same, if all the answers are giving the same examples, it will always looks very similar, and it won't give an appeal to the invigilators that okay, we can give a more marks. Otherwise, they will fix like 4 or 5. So you need to think that the society is a easy thing which anyone can answer in any day. You have to give certain kind of importance to the society, because it is also, if it is a 60 means 33%, right? So you have to give more importance to the society also. It is like I'm just sharing from my experience that you have to give that much importance to the society. So in that, it is like we are segregating society and diversity as a section A. In this, only 24% is coming. But this is more or less a fixed thing. This concept are more or less fixed. It's like caste. What are all the differences we have? Caste, tribe, region kind of things. It will come under this. And this is a very important. This topic is more volatile topic. If it is like in 2014, if there is a rape case comes, which is very big issue in India, that time you may have a different kind of question in rape. Related to the women's safety, what are all the things we did as a society, what are all the societal reason which force these things to continuously happen in India. So this topic is always volatile, and you have to give more importance to this. And similarly, section C is communalism, secularism. In this, you can expect at least a question in your society, because it has communalism, regionalism, and secularism. And earlier it was like they will simply okay. So earlier it is like as I told earlier that they will simply ask what is communalism. What are all the form of communalism? What are all the advantage or disadvantage of communalism? They will ask. Now they are get deep into that, and they are asking some deep questions where you should have some kind of understanding. It's like ethnic groups also comes under communalism. It's like 2 years back they asked a question, right? It is like this communalism, whether it's act as a problem because of the inefficiency in distributing the resources, or is it a competition in distributing the resources which makes communalism more active now? For that, you should know more. It is like instead of doing, this community group or this ethnic group is causing some problems to India, you should know in economically how their aspiration is becoming an issue in communalism. Can anyone tell that their community, their communal feel about the development is causing issue in India? They are attaching with their ethnic identity, and they are saying that their development is undermined because of that. Is there? Can you give some example? It is like any community, any ethnic, it means any state which use their ethnic. Maratha. Okay. Bishnoi. How they are fighting for development. For an example, if I'm saying that, take Tamil Nadu as a context. What they are saying, I'm paying you 1 rupee, I'm getting only 30 paise from the central government. It is a ethnic identity as a Tamil. Earlier it was only like only pride in terms of their language, their culture. Now they are using that identity for a development purpose. This is my identity. I need money. Now my ethnic identity becomes a weapon to fight against the economic disparity. Similarly, you have to check that. It is like how earlier it was like just an identity. It's like why Tamil people are fighting against idea of India or these kind of things only they will ask. Now, how an identity is used for economic development. In terms of, not only in terms of they want education, they want reservation, nothing like that. It is like in terms of financial expenditure, in terms of the contribution to the tax revenue, in terms of finance commission distribution to the states. So this is something more. So that's why I'm telling this communalism, some secularism, they can ask question every year. Still you will feel very fresh. Oh, this question is new. But you know that communalism, you know what is communalism, what is the disadvantage and advantage, but still you will feel some kind of difficulty in answering the questions because you should know if it is a communalism, what are all the communal groups are there. It's not only about religious groups, it's about an ethnic group also. Ethnic group means you have to know about the Punjab, what their demand, you should know about the Northeast people and what is their demand. Even within Northeast, there are multiple ethnic groups are there. What is their demand for development, for cultural identity, for their independence? So you should have some kind of idea. Then only, okay, this is something new. At least you can write about the Tamil people or South people or Punjab. Even to an extent, it is like, for an example, I am saying from a Tamil Nadu context, right? I am paying 1 rupee, you are giving me only 35. So if I am talking in terms of Bihar, I am from Bihar, now I am talking. All my resources are taken from Bihar, Jharkhand. I am not getting anything in my return. So these developed states have a historical responsibility to pay me. So that is also ethnic identity, right? So it is like if it is an ethnic identity, it doesn't need to minority. Minority is not religious. There may be a multiple religions. All religion has an issue in terms of their cultural identity and everything. Similarly, all linguistic people has the issue. So you have to think in terms of that. At least when you are reading, you read newspaper where there is a demand for more resource from Bihar or UP, you should know why they are demanding that. Because it is an overall use like this demand is only comes from a minority state. Otherwise, South Indian states. But they are also asking why. That means an aspiration. So this communalism, religionism, secularism is an important topic you will get still every year. but still you feel it is fresh, it is new. Similarly, the fourth one is a globalization. The globalization is like now the question comes like how the gig workers impacting the economy in a positive way, negative way. How this informal employment like Swiggy, Zomato or Ola drivers, what will be their issue? How it will impact? I think 2 years back they asked the question like how this urbanization impacts human freedom, personal freedom, and impact their personal life. So it is like few questions are in a deep level they are asking. It is like you should not give general answers. You should give some kind of importance. You have to think about that and you have to answer. But this is the same. It is like section A, section B, and this is their percentage of priority. It is like 25% from section A and 42 from things. Yeah. Based on this, that we charted out the important topics within that entire society syllabus. One is an urbanization. Directly or indirectly, they asked the 10 questions from urbanization topic. So, but if you are taking the 10 question for the last 10 years, nothing is similar. But you know that urbanization, right? Nothing is new. Urbanization is something very about that, and we face urbanization. Directly influenced by that. But still, the topic is fresh. Still, you will feel like this question is something new. Similarly, this woman topic. This woman topic will be women safety, women empowerment, how the development programs are gender sensitive. Similarly, this poverty, development, diversity, population, these are all some of the important topics. In which this within this, it comes communalism, secularism, and everything. You want to chart? You know that, right? This is a split up. Here is from 2013 25. What is the weightage? It is like in 2013, they skipped globalization, right? Globalization. Yeah, society they skipped. But more or less, this is the you can see that globalization is comes in all year. You can see that this empowerment, communalism, regionalism comes in all year. Within that, you know that communism, they will ask secularism, they will ask regionalism, they will ask. But you should know that if it is a regionalism, what are all the region address? Should be all the parts of India. If you are addressing, then it will become a richer answer. Similarly, I will always tell my juniors and my friends that you don't need to mention that you are from certain place, right? In the question paper, number and everything, they can know. This is like all your examples comes from Tamil Nadu. Otherwise, at least South India. So that's why it is like when you are trying to do examples, it should represent the rest of India also. It is like all the examples you have to take. If you are writing only the caste atrocities in South or Tamil Nadu or UP, then that is also a problem. So it is like you should not, your answer should not project like the caste atrocities only happen in Bihar and UP. It happens in everywhere. So that happens in Tamil Nadu, that happens in North, that happens in Northeast. In every place it is happening. So your answers and your examples should not focus on any state or any region. Okay. Yeah, this is section B. This woman, population, urbanization, and poverty. In this section, they ask 32 questions out of 76. It means 50% comes from this area. And earlier the topic was like general topic and they will directly ask the questions. Now they are asking like a applied social cluster. It is like you have to think and you have to answer. at least you have to spend some time. You should not write a general answer. Similarly, women and urbanization itself 10 question each. Last slide we saw, right? Anything related to the women, anything related to the urbanization, 10 question from the last 10 years. This is for section A. The caste tribe diversity dominates section A. Earlier was like whether the caste is still functional, whether this caste or religion is still a place in urbanized India, that kind of question comes. Now the question is more like they will put you in a situation and you have to think and you have to answer. It's like if you are taking like this dialectical treatment, not a description. It is a description. It's like you will write about that caste, religion, tribe. You will just write about that. It's like what are the problems of tribes? You know, displacement, rehabilitation, land loss, this, that. But now they are asking like if displacement and rehabilitation is the center of this issue, what will be the impact in the future? It's like earlier you can just write about the rehabilitation, you can write about the displacement. Now the answer should be more precise. Like dialectical treatment means it should be like you have to accept. Yes, this last 50 years or 70 years of development, leave the tribes behind. We have to take responsibility for that and we have to bring them into the development of mainstream society. It's like, for example, all tribal area which has more resource are underdeveloped. You know, right? Resource curse. You used to read about the African nations, like they are always resource curse. They are rich in minerals, metals, and everything, but still they are poor. But it's not still they are poor. They are poor because they are having metals and minerals. So, few recent year questions are comes like you have to accept. Yes, where we lag, in where our policy lags, then we have to propose. We have to write an answer for how we can include them. So that kind of questions are comes in this section A, tribe, caste, diversity. It is like 2 years back, I think last year, one question came, right? This intercaste marriage between socio-economic parity groups is happening. It is like your social background is same, the other person's social background is also same, but they are from different caste. But even though if it is a love marriage, they are accepting because of parity in social and economic status. But when it comes to a problem in socio-economic condition, there is something. And another thing is, same thing is not happening in interreligious marriage. Why? If you are only concerned about socio and economic condition, then there should be a interreligious marriage also. Why? Why we are whether Indian society is moved forward in caste, but not in religion? Then why? This kind of question comes. It is like this will be put in a situation where you need to think. And sometimes you will realize, yeah, that is true in exam centers. It's not something you know studying, right? It's like that time, yeah, this is happening. Then you have to answer. So it will take some time. This is section A. See this diversity, caste, tribe, and family values, and marriage and kinship. Yeah, this is section C. This communalism, regionalism, and secularism. It is like earlier, it is a direct question. Nowadays, they are asking about a more detailed one. Small issue may be a question. It may come as a question paper. Right? In question paper, a small issue will come as a question. So you have to, like when you are communalism, you should know about what are the full issues. It is like Sikhs, Parsis, even to an extent. For an example, when we are discussing with my friends, they are asking about maybe they get a question regarding this localized folk gods, right? Because Kantara and these kind of Karp, I think if you are from Tamil Nadu, you know that Karp. That is also a local deity. Kantara is a local deity. So it is like something new is coming up where this local small deities are getting recognized in the mainstream cinema. So you may get a question based on that, but we will always think about a comparison for all larger religion, how it is impacting. But you have to think that also. It is like sometimes you have to be very spontaneously. You have to think and you want to answer. The globalization everywhere they are asking one or two questions. Minimum you get one questions, and the new trend is they are focusing more on employees. How it is affecting urbanization, how it is affecting India's demographic dividend. It is like we are always talking about demographic dividend, but that population is the gig economy. Just because they are getting an employment, we are not considering about them. There is a concern actually, because this underemployment is a problem. Because we don't have unemployment doesn't mean that we don't have a problem. It's underemployment. They are engineering graduates, they are doing parcel service. I'm not telling that the parcel things are very bad, but if the engineer is doing that, what about the 10th or 12th passed out? How we are going to accommodate them? So this kind of questions may comes. It is like globalization more than the traditional questions. It will be more like a new one, gig economy or something new. It will come in the newspapers. That will you have to get that topic from the newspapers. That you should focus. And the last few years, they were asking question in gig economy, work from home, how it will impact the social structure, women personal freedom, kind of things they were asking. Even one year they asked about cryptocurrency, right? So this demographic winter. What is demographic winter? Anyone have any idea?
Rise of military rule, overthrowing the Elder
No, demographic winter.
Aged
Okay. Yeah. We're touching the topic, that's why. Since this demographic winter is like this always the pyramid is going up, right? But we reach a point where the old age population will overtake the young population. Few countries are facing that. For a country like Japan, they are moving towards that. That's why we asked about demographic winter. But this term is new. Everyone have an idea about that. You have an idea. If they are asking about aging population, you may write. But they are asking a demographic winter. For that, you should know what is demographic winter. So these kind of questions they are asking in recent years. It's like you have to think. It's not like you can come and you can write an answer for society. Earlier that was the case. So now they are taking the society section very seriously. So this kind of, it is like some important population related terms, society related terms comes. We used to say in sociology that jargons. Few jargons are very important. If you find any jargons which is very quite interesting. Now this demographic is something unique, right? We don't get these kind of terms easily. To come across this kind of topics, you should give some kind of importance. They may ask this gig economy. We come across this gig economy terms in newspapers always, right? But we put less importance to that because but they asked about this question. Gig economy, demographic winter, work from home. Everything is right about work from home. But no one expected that this will come in UPSC question. So these kind of jargons related with the society, which is given more importance in the newspapers or discussion, you have to give some importance here. This is based on this section 4 section. We are putting the question papers. It is like in section A we discuss, right, diversity, caste, tribe, family, and everything. In this last year they didn't ask any question. 2024 they asked about intercaste marriages between caste with socio-economic parity have increased, but this is less true of interreligious marriages. Discuss. We can write answers directly earlier. Now you should understand what they are asking. First, you have to accept that there is a, yes, it is happening in socio-economic parity groups. If you are going to write about that, what are all the groups you are going to write? At least you should know, right? It is like whether the socio-economic parity between certain caste group, whether only if it is an OBC, if both couples are from OBC, if they are from different caste, same socio-economic parity, whether that is happening. Whether this is the case with scheduled caste and OBC, scheduled caste and forward caste, that you have to think. If you are going to write about that also, you should give some examples, right? This is happening. Similarly, then you have to come to the interreligious marriages. This interreligious marriages also, you will get an answer from this. It is like, no, if you are going to answer, it is not like all the socio-economic parity marriages happening. Just because they are from SC, scheduled caste, OBC. If they are from certain groups, it is happening. If that is from a different groups, it's not happening. Similarly, when it comes to interreligious marriages, people are ready to see their caste identity, but they are not ready to see their religious identity. Then it can be, you can even put it like a communalism or religious ethnic identity. It will come from that heading also. So you have to think, when you are reading about the marriages, you have to think about the intricacies of marriage. What is happening in North? What is happening in South? What is happening between OBC? What is happening between SC and OBC? If the caste atrocities, whether it is only happening between SC and OBC or SC and forward caste, or within the SC scheduled caste, there is no caste fight is happening, or whether all the marriages within this caste group is happening without any problem, that you have to think. Even though if it is like they are from scheduled caste, it is scheduled caste. The number of caste is high. For example, it will be 50, 100 caste will come under scheduled caste. Whether within this 100, they are just sharing the same socio-economic status, whether the marriage is happening or not. This you should know. This you should, whenever you are reading that content, you should know. These are all the things you should know. Similarly, in 2024, just see, critically analyze the proposition that there is a high correlation between India's cultural diversity and socio-economic marginality. It is like, what is this question about? This one, yeah. Any idea? Correlation between India's cultural diversity and socio-economic marginality. Diversity and vulnerability. Okay. In what sense? We have marginalized communities because we have diversity or what? No, this, see, we always say that we are diverse nation, unity in diversity, we are rich in community groups, right? Whether this question is about in a positive tone or negative tone? Negative tone. It means that the cultural diversity is the reason for lot of socio-economic marginalities. Okay, you are going to write about that. Yes, that is true. Then who are all the what examples you are going to give?
Human disabilities.
Women disabilities, okay.
Yes.
Tribes. Then what I'm telling is like when it is diversity, you don't need to reduce yourself into a small identities or very less diversities. See, this country is diverse in terms of linguistic, religion, region, sexual, lot of things are there, right? Tribes is totally, they are not even thinking that they are part of us. So multiple diversities are there. But when it comes to multiple diversity, this will create socio-economic problem because when you are as a nation, at some point you want a unity, right? Because a unity feeling, unit culture. See, this is my culture. You want to showcase to the world that this is my culture. This is my best food. This is my food habit. India is a mostly vegetarian country or non-vegetarian country. India is more of a Hindi speaking or non-Hindi speaking. When you are saying that Hindi is the highest number of people are speaking in India, then that time this diversity has become a problem. All other language groups will create an issue. So the problem is like the both are interrelated. You have to accept, but you have to say that, see, India as a country never or it should not project themselves as a unit in terms of its culture, in terms of its ethnicity, in terms of its consumption pattern. Nothing you can normalize because here everything is unique. All people have equal rights. All culture has to be respected. If it is a matrilineal or patrilineal, if it is a eating habits, if some people are eating beef, you have to accept. In accepting that, development will come along with. Otherwise, it will be more marginalized. Because you have to take a stand. As a country, I don't want to take any stand. This should be this question. As a society, yes, we have a lot of diversity, but we are not trying to get something as this is my identity. If I'm trying to put something as my identity, it will be problems. That's where it is like they are putting this question in a very complicated thing like India's cultural diversity, because we always write India's cultural diversity is strength. Right? We used to write that India's cultural diversity is strength. But this question is about, it's not strength way. It is the opposite side. They are trying to explore the opposite side of the cultural diversity. We about the positive things. Yes, we have larger languages. We have multiple ethnicity. These kind of things we know. But they are asking the opposite side. Okay, we explore more this side. Let's explore on this. It is like how it is creating more problems. Similarly, this sacrosanct is losing its value in modern India. This question is about whether this marriage is becoming irrelevant in India. You have to take a stand. Even if you don't take a stand in this, you have to explore, is it true or not? Whether increasing diverse is telling that this marriage is no more relevant, or increasing relevance is a statement that gives that marriage is always relevant. Right? For example, it is like diverse is if you are taking diverse as a symbol of making marriage is irrelevant, then why remarriage is happening? If one relationship is failed, if an illegal relationship comes, it means the need for the relationship is always there. The society may not accept that. That's why it becomes illegal. If this family structure, this marriage as a concept is very much modern, if they are ready to accept the diverse, if the divorce process has become very easy, do you think that this illegal relationship will continue? This illegal relationship will come down if the society change. Similarly, it is like you have to think in terms of both ways. It is in modern India, whether the marriage is losing its importance or not. Importance means why? Yes, you are accepting that statement. Why? If you are not accepting also, you should know. But our mind will always think that yes, modern India, marriage is losing relevance. But you should know the other side of the story also. It is like your answer should balance the both. This modern India is giving you options. The earlier the individuals don't have option. Now the individuals having an option. It is like whatever the technology comes, you should to do that individualization or modernization, right? If the computer comes, we will use it for astrology also. It's like, in modern India, we are not against marriage as a concept. Marriage is still relevant. You should write about that also. It's not only, yes, modern India, because we always used to think in that way. As most of them are from sociology background, I'm telling. If for a sociology student, then you know that always there is a two sides. Two sides. There will be multiple sides, but at least two sides will be there. So your answer should address the both. If your answer is like, yes, modern India, a lot of divorce is going, marriage is losing its importance, then that answer is not very rich. Yes, you can write about this. At the same time, you have to address the other side also. You have to explore. Yeah, similarly, it is like this most of the question, if you are saying that this child huddling is now being replaced by mobile phones. These things, they are going away from the traditional questions. Traditionally, they will ask an open question. Now they are thinking in terms of how it can be asked in the current situation. You may not read about these things in any book or any material. But when you are reading this paper, you can pick it up. If when you are reading about this article kind of like over mobile phones and the impact on family life or personal life. Okay, clear. Okay, yeah. So, it is like if you are reading that newspaper, if you are come across any topic like this, then you should give some importance to that. And you have to think about it, you can take a hints or at least some important points. Otherwise, it is a new thing when writing mains. Because whether anyone is going to write mains this time, because this is the right time. Because you have 6 month minimum, right? Anyway, you will start for prelims next February, March. Because that is the usual thing we are doing, right? We are having 6 months. If you are reading this newspaper, these kind of things, not only in terms of society, you have to read the newspaper or current affairs, keeping these things in mind. Okay, this is something new, which I don't have an idea. Then I have to read about that. Right? Because you don't have prelims right now. This is already 1 year gap is there. So this time you can use this time to understand more concepts. Not only in society, I am telling. Wherever you come across any something unique, something new, something modern, you should read about that. That will make you able to get to the point very easily. Okay, whatever the preparation you did, UPSC mains questions always surprise you. But only thing is like, you will take only 5 seconds to get into the topic. Whether that is a 5 second or 1 minute, that is the difference. The person who get into the topic in 10 seconds will get an advantage than the person who is taking 1 minute to think about the topic. That thing comes naturally when you are reading a lot of things. When you are reading newspapers, when you are thinking about that, if you are reading about that marriage concept only, your mind will think that is true. Marriage is still relevant or not. You should have an opinion, right? Otherwise, you have to read the question paper, you have to make an opinion out of that, then you have to answer the question. This will take at least 2 minutes if it is a delay. If you are doing this for 10 questions, 20 minutes out. At least you will leave questions unanswered. Otherwise, very half. Only half answers you will give. So, if this is the right time that you can focus on some important topics, comes in newspaper or current affairs materials, then you can read about that. This will help you because this child huddling, no one will read about this in any material. Because no one can predict this, right? Similarly, it is like in this last 5 years, if you are taking, most of the questions comes like, just see, given the diversity among tribal communities in India, in which specific context should they be considered as a single category? Because we used to think tribe as a single identity. They all are same. Then why there is an issue in Manipur? If that is the case, then why there is an issue in Manipur? Whether all the tribal groups living adjacent places have a good relationship, whether they are sharing their culture, whether number high tribes are respecting the number low tribes, whether we are considering tribe as an identity as a utopic concept. Because from my personal experience, I was in sociology preparation for 10 years. Then think about me. I am going to Nilagiri for my internship. I did my PG in public health. So as part of that internship, my imagination was like, okay, we are going to the tribal village. What we will think like, okay, tribes, they are having a different culture, this, that. Because I used to, that time I met Katanayakan, Mania, all the tribes in their hamlets. But once I visited their place, my opinion has totally changed. Because they are out of their homeland long time back. Their appearance and everything is similar to me. Their consumption is similar to me. Because we displaced them, they don't have other way to do. They are also alcohol addict. It's not like all the tribes. I can find that some people are alcohol addict in tribes also. So then it means like, okay, then the context or the identity I have as a tribe itself is wrong. Because tribe of Nilagiri is totally different from tribe of Kuruk. Tribe of North India is totally different from Northeast. Within Manipur, there is a lot of difference. So this question is trying to address that. Diversity among tribal, in which specific context they should be considered as a single category. Then you have to think. Why this question comes is, we always have an opinion that it is a single community. Now they are asking you, you are only telling that it is a single community, right? Then why there are some problems? If it is a single community, in what way they are single community? What is the common they are sharing between them? Whether they have a same culture, whether they have same consumption, whether their marriage style is same, nothing. Then why we are considering them as a single community? This question is like, they will put you in a situation to deconstruct your opinion. Once after you seeing this question, you will realize that whether my opinion is right or wrong. Because this is the opinion I have for a long time. Now they are telling that they are asking me to give a justification, but I couldn't give a justification. Otherwise, you could give an answer, right? We can simply write an answer. Yes, they are tribal, single community. They are sharing this, they are sharing this. Unless this displacement rehabilitation, there is no commonality between them. Only this rehabilitation, displacement, these things may be a commonality, but they are very unique. Within a 10 kilometers region, I can see 5 different types of tribes. 5 people are different. Their specialization is different. Some people are specialized in medicinal things. The Karthik IAS tribes are they have a very traditional knowledge of medicines. But others may not have, because in that 5 communities, one communities directly have a linkage with the mainstream society. They are doing agriculture laborers for the long time. So they got all the things from the mainstream society, the consumption pattern and everything. This is not the case with Karthik IAS. They are less mainstream influenced. So if you are saying that it is a single community, how you are going to say this? Otherwise, you have to say that this is not a single community. Then you have to develop an answer. Right? So it is like earlier this question is very simple. Now this is not as it is. It is very, very difficult. Even to an extent, it is like you have to think in terms of 50-50. This truth is always has two sides. If you are having this caste is good, then think about what if it is bad. Similarly, if you are thinking that tribal is a single identity, then think like what if they are not single. If diversity is good, how diversity is bad? You have to prepare like that. It's not only for society. In most of the cases, that is the thing. In GS, all the GS question paper, you can see both. They are asking a question against the mainstream idea. In mainstream, what is our opinion? These are our opinion. Marriage is good or marriage is bad. Caste is good or caste is bad. Tribes are single identity or tribes are. This is our opinion. Now they are asking you to answer from the different side. Okay, now you know this, you write about this. That is quite surprising, and it will make you waste a lot of time in exams. If you are in mains, definitely it will cost you. So whenever you are reading something, you just think in terms of the both. It is like an argument. In debate, we have two sides, right? Okay, you are sitting this side, you are speaking something against this. What if you sit this side and speak against this? In that way, you have to think. In that way, you have to read. Then you will take a 10 second to understand this question and answer. This 10 second is the difference you will make. It will make difference. This is section B. This already I explained, right? How does smart city in India address the issue of urban poverty and distributive justice? First, you should know what is smart city, then urban poverty and distributive justice. It is like, can anyone give some hint? It is like how we can answer this. How does smart city in India address the urban poverty and distributive justice? Any idea? See, as you are exploring this topic only, I am also seeing. It's not like I know the answer and I am telling.
Things under the smart city mission and how it approaches the issues. That's the question.
Okay, how address the issue of urban poverty and distributive justice, right? Okay. Okay, this urban poverty, because it is a direct link, right? Development and urban poverty you can link. What about distributive justice?
Things will be available, so more facilities, so there will be more justice, both social and economic.
Okay.
If
How-
it's smart cities, then the accessibility will be easy.
Okay.
There will be housing, there will be jobs.
Yeah, that is correct. This is like how the smart city will impact in society. That is your answer, right? It's like what are the advantage of or what will be the benefit of smart city? Why this distributive justice?
It gives the justice, both social and economic. There will be jobs so that the economic justice will be served. So in the social side, there will be housing and groups that fair.
Okay, I'm taking this in a different way. I just will tell you that this distributive justice, like whenever the scheme comes, we should think what are all the opportunities it's going to give, what are all the outcomes it is going to give, and how it is going to share the burden. That is more important. It is like, okay, metro comes. Who is accessing the metro? Whether this is accessed by everyone. If it is accessible by everyone, then it is having the distributive justice. Because it's great opportunity. Yeah, I can able to travel 10 kilometers in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Outcome, yeah, it is a better outcome. It is reducing the traffic, congestion, everything. Whether this is addressing the inequality, whether the inherently this project is providing a medium where this naturally present disparity will continue. Whether the people who are using can access this, whether the people who are using bus or share auto kind of things, whether they can access. Similarly, in smart city mission, in smart city we are having few objectives, right? Public places and everything. Whether that will address urban poverty, because in urban poverty, what here it is like how the urban poverty directly impacted by smart city. One thing you have to write why the smart city mission directly influencing urban poverty, how it may impact urban poverty. Urban development, yes, how it will impact urban poverty.
Smart city mission is one of these schemes that for street vendors. We can organize the street vendors and give loan for street vendors, so we can provide systems to them.
Okay.
Street vendors are over. They are the ones who.
Yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is like you should know what is smart city. What are all the components of smart city? It is like transport, industrialization, or accessible public place. These kind of things you should know. Now you have to link this with the social context. If it is comes in paper 2 or paper 3, you will write in a different way. This is the projected economic growth, or this is the percentage of contribution in terms of work participation or employment generation, kind of things you can write. But here the question is like the smart city, how issues address the issues of urban poverty and distributive justice. It is like you have to write in terms of, yes, this urban smart city is gender sensitive. Smart city is thinking about street vendors, as you mentioned. The smart city is making public places accessible to all disabled people and everyone can access. At the same time, it is making very easy accessible for the transport system, right? This kind of things you have to know. It is like earlier, it is like if it is on paper 2 or paper 3, you write in a different way. But now they are asking the scheme in society. How this scheme is impacting society, you should know. Now they are linking urban poverty to distributive justice. Distributive justice, like, see, it is a keyword. This is a jargon. The answer is like, if you are writing about the distributive justice, they will be very convinced. Okay, this answer is somewhat. Otherwise, it is like, what is the achievement of smart city? What are all the things we did in smart city? That everyone will write. Because in the material, you answer only for the smart city mission, right? You may not have things which are related to the smart city, whether it is accessible, whether it is considered about the poor people, their transport, their livability, their affordability. These things we have to think. Earlier it was like schemes, we can just leave it for a paper 2 or paper 3. Now they are asking that in paper 1 also, relating with the Indian society. Similarly, this take this achieving sustainable growth with emphasis on environmental protection could come into conflict with poor people's need in a country like India. What is this question about? Is it a, in what way they are asking this question?
Like, for example, electric vehicles.
Okay.
Okay, electrification, whether while designing the electrification scheme, whether it includes every sector of people, like accessibility.
No. Yeah. But the thing is like the environmental protection could come into conflict with poor people need. புரியுங்களா சஸ்டைனபிள் growth நம்ம ஒன்று பண்றோம் we are doing something in the name of sustainable growth and sustainable development, right? Whether this sustainable development is in conflict with poor people's need. This side is poor people, this side is sustainable development. As I told already that we always on this sustainable development side, right? Now they are asking you to consider this. Whether this is in conflict with people's need, poor people's need. In what way you can answer this question?
E20 petrol, E85 petrol affecting poor people's vehicles. Most of the poor peoples are using non-BS6 vehicles. So, consuming E20 petrol, it majorly affects engine part. So, poor people can't afford that engine problem costs.
Yeah, this is a very good example. Other examples?
From 2028, Delhi city will be free of vehicles. Only EV vehicles are allowed from 2028. That will affect the auto drivers or Ola cab drivers. They have to change their vehicles to EV scooters. I don't think they will change in 3 years or 2 years period of time. They can't afford the price. That will affect their employment.
That is like first, yeah, this is also a very good connection, but we should know about what is sustainable growth. Not only in terms of transportation, but now both are linked with the transportation, right? In terms of green climate, they are giving you some solutions, which is unaffordable by poor people. Now you are asking them to wait for another 10 years. For an example, it is like for buying a bike by a poor family is a big dream. Now they reach to a stage where they can buy a bike or buy a car, for an example. Now what you are doing is like in the name of sustainable energy, sustainable fuel, you are raising its cost, or you are canvassing that only it is good. It is unaffordable. Otherwise, people who fought very hard and bought some bikes in previous years, you are projecting them that they are against this environment. Because whatever the sustainable development, sustainable initiatives, as a concept of sustainable, everyone is okay with that. But it should not be at the cost of poor people. For an example, can you explain this in the context of global world? Yeah, this climate fund. It is like now they are shifting from petrol to EV. Entire world is focusing on EV, investing on EV. Then think about the people who are already facing issues in getting petrol. Now they are double burden. Now they have to reduce petrol and should make themselves able to afford EV. So I'm just giving an example in terms of EV, only fuel. You have to think in terms of other terms.
Then even CAPM policy.
Yeah, this biodiversity or
They will
common but differentiated responsibility.
They will add some extra tax on the products based
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the carbon emission.
It's like we all are using coal power only. Most of our electricity is generated from coal, right? 50%. Now we are using that 50% to charge our EV. But we are claiming that we are green. But that is not going green. Why? When if it is green, fully green means you are generated that sustainable energy using that for EV. But now what we are doing is like we are using coal, we are generating electricity. Now we are using that for EV and we are claiming that EV is good. Not only you have to think this in terms of products. We are putting extra charges as you mentioned about surcharge or chess kind of things we are putting. Even poor people are facing that same, right? For an example, if poor person is paying 10 rupees per liter pollution kind of things. Why? Because the last 50 years they are not enjoying any benefit of this, right? This is the time I am coming. You are asking me fine for what I didn't enjoy in the past. Because only certain people used this energy for the last 15 years, 50 years, then you have to charge them. Why you are asking me? Because this same argument India as a country is putting in global stage. When US or Europe is asking that you have to reduce your emission, that time we are putting it, why we have offered? Only Europe is taking advantage of this, so Europe is spend. I'm just catching up with you in the last 20 years, why I have to face the burden. But when it comes to India, our argument is totally different. That time also we should say that only the bigger persons or upper class people should pay more for petrol. But that is not the case, right? Everyone is facing. For example, it is like everyone is paying the same indirect tax. Even richer people and poor people are spending the same money for a liter of petrol. I'm just telling in terms of petrol. Can you give some other examples? It's going more towards energy. Yeah.
To change over technology, they have to bear the extra cost.
Yeah. Do you think that going to the traditional way of farming is the new sustainable growth? In 1970s, we used to face famine, right? That time we all did the traditional farming or traditional cultivations. That time we took modernization. Now we are self-sustaining. Now what they are doing is like, now new concept is coming, going traditional way is the sustainable. Now the people, the farmers who find very hard to adapt to the modern farming, they are just entering into this last 20 years only. In 1980s we started, most of the farmers adapted to the modernization in last 15 years. But what is happening? Now we are again asking them to go back to the traditional one. But the traditional one is very costly now. Earlier it is very cheap. Now it is very costlier. You can't find seeds. So this is the way the sustainability is like the greenwashing, right? We are using greenwashing campaign in all the things. It is like in terms of consumerism. For example, they are selling a shirt. Earlier it is a 500. Now they are telling that it is sustainable way we are making it. It is 2000. Now the consumers are forced to buy that to show that they are also green. What about the people who are manufacturing normal shirt? They are competing with sustainable people, right? So it is like this competition is always created, and the sustainable growth should not become an camouflaging identity under which they are going, and that, and the poor people who are already facing issue, they are also facing the same thing. So it is like that is what I'm telling. It is like we always have a this side. You have to think in terms of both sides, because you can see that the recent question papers, they are always asking you to take a different stand, the opposite stand. If you are not taking an opposite stand, then it will make you to wait for some time to think and write an answers. That delay is the advantage for the people who are reading about this or having an opinion before this. So this is with section C. I just want to show some examples. It is like how they asked, what is the regional disparity? How does it differ from diversity? How serious is the issue of regional disparity in India? These questions are the same. It is not about, okay, this is definition, right? Okay, this definition is 2 marks or 1 mark. How does it differ from diversity? How serious is the issue of regional disparity in India? Then you should fibergate India into multiple regional groups. And you have to give an answer. It should not be like north, south, or your state is others. Your answer should not be like that. It should be like a healthy argument where regional disparity is an engine actually. In many cases, it is an engine, because we reach to a point where regional disparity is not a threat to the India as a nation. It is actually the impetus force. Bihar is asking more industries. Maharashtra is asking. Tamil Nadu and Andhra is fighting. It means there are a lot of aspirations there. But if you are not able to manage that aspiration, that is different. But whether it is a problem or not, if you can write in both ways, whether regional disparity is right or wrong, but your answer should be address both sides. Yes, in some cases, it creates some problems. In most of the cases, this problem comes because of aspirations. All region wants to be at the top. It doesn't mean that if it is a regional disparity, it doesn't mean that you have to segregate India into north, south. There is no need. Right? If within south, 5 states are different. There is a regional disparity between south, north, Andhra, Karnataka, and Telangana, Andhra. What is the case? That is a regional disparity, right? That's why it becomes 2 states. So you can think in terms of that and you can answer. Similarly, despite, then here it is like earlier they will ask, they used to ask, right? Not yet getting the full benefit of affirmative action. For that you have to write what are all the affirmative action we as a society took to make that equity and social justice for the underprivileged section. Then we have to argue the opposite way. Right? You can write, okay, Article 14, Article 15, Article 19, these, that, direct state principles. These are all the things which trying to address the marginalized people's need. What they are asking is like not yet getting the full benefits. Why? Then you have to think in terms of the other side. What are all the policy comes? Okay, if it is a reservation, for an example, how you are going to argue this? If it is a reservation, is affirmative action, right? Whether it reach marginalized, whether it reach underprivileged. If it is not, why? Then how we can do that? This is the question. It is in the opposite side. You can see the clear difference. We are always right, like, okay, these affirmative actions doing good, ensuring social justice, improving the development, improving the growth. But now the question is like, we did all these things, but yet the privileged or marginalized people are facing the issue why. So you have to think in terms of that. So you can see that in paper in polity, we will write this side, right? In society, the trend is like you have to write this side. When you have, if the same question comes in polity, you will write like article 14, 15, 16, 19, this, that, DPSP, everything you will write. In society, the trend is like opposite to that. Why we failed? We took these kind of measures, but still we failed. Why? We think that they are developed, but they are underdeveloped. Why? We think that this scheme is inclusive, but it is not inclusive. Why? So you have to think in both ways. If you have an answer for both sides, if the question comes directly, you can easily write. You will write. If it is in the opposite side, you can, at least you won't get surprise in the exam hall. So you can see the question papers. It is like if you want to have an idea, not only about society, all the subjects, go back and see the question papers. That will give you an idea. That is a reality check actually. It's like whatever the material you read, you can feel that, okay, I know, I can write. But the thing is like, if you read about caste, take last 3 years question, whatever the questions they asked about caste, can you answer the question? Can you think in their way? Similarly, it is with polity or geography and everything. It's like you go back and see the question paper. If you can be able to understand and start write. Okay, 5-10 seconds I thought about this, I can start writing. Then you are going in a right way. If you are feeling like I know about urbanization, but if the urbanization question comes like this, if you can't answer, then it is a problem. You know the 10 points. It is not 10 points anymore. Because when we started in 2011-12, that time the question paper is like, our seniors will advise that don't write a paragraph answers. That was the advice from my seniors. You should not put a, you should not put a pointers. Single line point you should not write that time. Your answer should be a descriptive one. You should explain the points. But that trend changed in 2015. That time the trend was like, don't write in paragraphs. Write it in points. Similarly, earlier the question is like direct question. Who read about regional disparity and different types of regional disparity and the impact of regional disparity, they can write. Now they can't write an answer. It's like you have to think, you have to answer. For that, whenever you are reading the material, once you complete the topic, go back and see the question paper. If you are okay with these 2 questions, go to 2019 and see the question paper. Whether you can answer, or still you are feeling hardship in understanding the question. Then you have to go back and read. So, in similar way, it is like, I am just giving an example that this is how they change the question paper. But whether the syllabus is changed, nothing, right? Our material is totally changed. Same. NCRT is also same. Society NCRT, social problems, everything, the material is same. But the question paper is always getting changed. Because they are getting updated. Now you are also should get updated. For that, you always keep 2 sides, know both sides. Fundamental rights, if fundamental rights is good, in what way it may be bad. You just have a thought about that. It is like an argument, it is like a debate. You should know both sides. If it helps you, definitely it will help. In exams, it is like that spontaneity will give you an advantage. That spontaneity is the key in mains. Because in prelims, it is more about your preparation. In mains, anyway, everyone crossed the first stage. Right? In prelims, it's nothing like that. The people who went to the service, right? Who discipline has a maintained a discipline and hard work, that person will also write. The person who just came and write, that person will also come. That is a different thing. But when it comes to mains, everyone crossed the one stage. Everyone is a competitor here. That time you should not give extra time or some. It is like I took 5 minutes to read the question. It is fine, but that 5 minutes you have to compensate in some questions. If you are not able to compensate, then you won't write one question. Otherwise, 2 questions, only half you will write. The presentation may be a very worst one. Otherwise, point may be a worst one. So, you have to think and you have to make sure that you are in right line when you are going to a mains. You have enough time. At least 6 months you can prepare for mains, right? So, whatever the subject you are reading, you have a read, you go back to the question paper, you try to answer that. At least you try to put a hint. It is like what are all the subheadings I am going to write. What are all the things I may write about this. It is a caste or tribe, this subheadings. If you can able to do that, you are in that line. Once you cross a place, definitely you will end up in interview. Because that shift is somewhat difficult. Because I cleared 3 times prelims, I went to interview 3 times. But I know people who are very hardworking, very knowledgeable, who couldn't crack prelims. And we sometimes feel that if this person cracked prelims, he will go to the interview definitely. So it is like that disciplined work. If you are in that line for the next 6 months, definitely it will get converted. You will reach interview stage. That will convert into service or not, that is something different. That time how you are performing, it is about 10-15 marks mostly. But if you want to reach interview, you should focus more on a disciplined hard work. The discipline will always comes like if you once you write a test, you have to go back and you have to see. This is for, I'm just giving an out of my experience I'm telling. It's not related only with the society. It is like you should maintain a discipline hard work. That is a both thing will keep you going and make you in interview. So whatever the subject you are reading, think in terms of parallel way. Both ways you have to think. Similarly, you should write a test. You should go back and see the answer. You have to change the answer. Where again it is like every week I am going, I am writing an answer. I am coming back. There is no use. From outside, you may look like a very seriously working person, regularly writing exams, test everything. But whether it will give you an outcome, that is a big question mark. Because you have to correct. You have to correct the way you are reading. You have to correct the way you are writing answers. If you are not correcting that, even if you are hard work, it may not convert into. See, if a person is studying for minimum 6-7 hours per day for 1 or 2 years, if he couldn't crack the exam, it's not about he is not studying. He is studying, but he don't know how to study, what to study, right? Otherwise, it is like you will feel like I am good at geography. But really when you are facing the question, geography question, that time you will feel the difficulty. In prelims, usually this will happen. It is like you will always go like, okay, I know economy, I can manage. But after coming out of the exam only, you know that out of 10 questions, only 4 I can answer. Because you spend more time on reading economy. It doesn't mean answer 8 questions out of 10. This you come to know only when you are doing this periodically, that you are testing yourself. You have to test. This every weekend test, mains test and everything is You can, this is for a discipline. It is like every week you are coming, every week you are reading, you are writing. This is for the discipline. Whether this will give you a result, that is based on how you are taking the test. Okay, I wrote this test for a fundamental rights, but when I am writing that, I am not very confident. Why? I couldn't be able to pick examples. I couldn't answer society questions. I couldn't answer economic question. Then that time you have to go back and read that in a different way. It's not be the old way. Right? So my suggestion is like we will discuss all these things in test batch and other programs. As you are for this orientation, I'm telling you that whenever you are reading society, think in terms of both sides. Keep this for all the subjects also. In geography, kind of technical subject, you don't need to think. But when it comes to polity, economy, society, these kind of topics, this may come in a different way. And this is if this is the trend, you should align your studies with that trend. That is better. Otherwise, you will lose the time. The next year you will be forced to change. In 2015, it is like all our friends find it very difficult to convert from discrete set to pointers. But we don't have a choice. In 16, we are forced to convert, and okay, we are okay. Not our descriptive answers. If it is a 10 marks, at least 10 pointers we have to put. That is our answer. So, whether you are accepting it or not, you will be forced to take it. So, instead of that, you think in parallel ways, write an answers. If you are joining some other test batch, then we can see. Any doubts? If you have any doubts regarding society, sociology or GS, you can ask. I don't see, I see myself as your senior, not as your teacher, okay? Because I was in the place 5 years back. So, I'm just sharing my experience. If you are having a different opinion also, you can say. It is like, I did the same thing, but I failed. You can say. Similarly, if you have any things to ask, share, you can.
We can write a couple of dimensions in a single question.
No, it is like, if the question, it's not a different 2 dimension, you can write, this is the things we achieved, this is the thing we want to focus more on. That we can write. It should not be like, this is the advantage of this program, this is the disadvantage of this program. It should be like, out of smart city mission, these are all the things we achieved in urban poverty, in addressing urban poverty and distributive justice. But still we have to go a long way, and we have to include more dimensions or marginalized people in planning and other things. We have to, the answer should be a, see, if you are arguing something with me, you can't say that caste is good or bad, right? The topic, the discussion has to end in a place where it should not be a bad, fully bad or fully good. Yes, it is a cultural identity, age-old identity, but we are getting organized. We have to get used to that. Whether there is no caste now in modern India, yes, we have, but we have to go towards a society where its influence should be reduced. It should not be used as a mean to discriminate. It should not be a mean to disable employment. That should be the answer, right? This is the way it should go. That should be the way answer should be. It should not be like this is right or wrong. And most of the question is not like it's right. It is in opposite side, most of the questions, the recent years. So you think in terms of the opposite. If you have an opinion like caste is good, you please have an opinion about caste is bad. I'm just giving an example. Similarly, religion. Similarly, diversity. Similarly, a scheme. We intend to do something with the scheme. We achieve something, but we have to go a long way. For an example, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Scheme, whether it is 100% good scheme. If it is, then why there is no bigger change in rural India for the last 15 years? That may be the question in future. Because if you are asking about Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Scheme and its good things, you will write. It may be like, okay, this is a good scheme, we implemented it, but there is no real structural change in the agricultural society, right? What is the issue? Then you have to think in that way. We used to have this points. This is good. This is right. The status quo we have, right? We are always with that. Now the question comes in the opposite side. You are saying it is good, but it didn't achieve the expected result. Why? Then you have to think in why. So that is the way they are asking questions. They change the pattern. Because all the answers are similar here. They are asking what is the good thing about Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Scheme? Answers are same. Everyone mug up about all the features, achievements and everything. If they are asking it failed to achieve the expected result, then this answer will be very rich. So this side they are turning. This may be a trend in next 2-3 years, and they may change this trend in the future also. But this is the trend. You think in terms of that. Wherever you are going and writing an exam answers, you think in terms of that. But whether the same kind of questions comes in all the tests in our institutes or in not only in Chennai or in Delhi, that may be a big question mark. Few subjects you may get a same kind of question papers. Sometimes it will be like more general question, regional disparity, this, that. But you should have an answer for that. That test is only for your discipline. You should know how to write for 3 years. When we are writing exams, mains, that time we used to have Valini in our place. Sometimes we used to hurt. We couldn't be able to write. That time we used to write. Because that 2 minutes, 3 minutes make a difference. So what I'm telling is like, for this only you are attending test. That whether it will create a good impact on your score, yes, it will create. But whether that is enough, it's not enough. For that you have to go back and you have to change the way you are reading, change the way you are writing. That thing will help. But don't need to be like do's and don'ts. That is not the way you should write an answer. It should be like do's and what can we do. Is there any question from online? Okay, then if there is no question, then we can conclude the session. Yeah, thank you.